Hello. Are you listening to these sweet tunes? Because anything else besides this song is really good. But hey, we are here playing Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane, which, as the name might already suggest, is an Ace Attorney style game, as far as I know at least. I haven't looked too much into it. But apparently it handles magical cases or something. Also, like, at first, when I first saw the title of this game, I assumed that Tyrion Cuthbert must have already been like some character or something, somewhere, because that name is so not catchy. Not the kind of name you'd, at least I would come up with for the protagonist of a thing. But I guess it's just what they did. And hey, apparently, supposedly this game's good, and I guess it was crowdfunded. But I guess one fair warning for today: my PC is acting naughty, let's say. It is not doing too well. Is another way of putting it. So if my like. It's had a bad day, I guess, and it's currently already making sounds again that I wish it didn't. So if my PC crashes or something, then that'll be that. I really need to get a new one. I was gonna save up some money and get it tomorrow, not tomorrow, next month. But I don't know, man. I hope it'll last until then. Other than that, so Steam claims this game does not support controllers. The game seems to disagree. But for example, when I go to settings, there's no way to select any of these settings. So I have to mouse over to use them, I guess. But other than that, I can hit the B button to back out of here. I can use the controller to do all of this. So I'm hoping it'll work with a controller. And if not, then I guess we'll see what we can do. But that's enough preamble. Let's get into Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Good. Looks like we have a couple of cases, 5 of them. I'm not going to look too closely at the thumbnails for the next ones. But that's a cutie who's also present in the opening screen that I chose. The cold-hearted aristocrat, case 1. Start the game from episode 1. I mean, yeah. Oh, my PC is getting noisier. But not in the typical way, you know, where it just gets loud and sounds like a jet engine, but in an even more annoying way. But let that be of no concern to you, because you can't even hear it. Just, you know, once again, if my PC crashes. You know. The fields of battle are filled with suffering and despair. On them are a clash of souls. Souls brought to conflict by the corrupt powers that rule over them. Riss Rudolph. Rice? I don't know. Occupation servant, age 34, arcane art non. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. I was worried that something was amiss, so I walked into the building to see what the commotion was. There I saw the defendant. She was lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. And she was stabbing the victim with her magical sword. Objection! If you didn't already think this was gonna be an Ace Attorney type game, well. Tyrion Cuthbert, occupation defense attorney, age 20, dang, we're young. I guess, no, I think Phoenix was like 25-ish when we first took control of him. Anyway, arcane art, not, so we are not a magician, I guess. Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim. And you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so? Yes, I could never forget such a grisly sight. That moment was burned into my memory. I see. Well, it's funny that you say that. How so? Because your entire testimony was a complete lie. His desk slam is really powerful, isn't it? That's some music. What?
Objection!
Oh, hello. Are you accusing the witness of perjury? Arya Steelwind, prosecutor, 18, even younger than us. Arcane art evocation? Well, surely you know that such accusations can't be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert. My accusation is far from baseless, Steelwind. He really likes that desk slam. Think about the state of the crime scene at the time of the murder. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Homicide. He knows something. He, I guess, is not so happy about that. But on this battlefield, there are still a few people who carry the ideals of justice within their hearts. But you have to wonder sometimes, are these ideals truly just? Or are they simply lies fed to us by our elders? Oh. Damn it. Ooh. Damn it! Flintheart, you fool! Why couldn't you just have... why couldn't you have just... No, why couldn't you have just listened to me? I'm guessing maybe that's the guy who claims to have seen the murder. Nope, that's... who's that? Rudolph, I require your assistance. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. By the scaled lord, what did you... You killed him. Alert the town guard. Tell them that you saw his daughter fleeing the scene. Oh no. Pinning the crime on the victim's daughter? You are a bad man, Mr. Question Mark. I'm sure the neighbors heard them arguing with each other. They'll immediately suspect her. At once, sir. Episode 1, The Cold-Hearted Aristocrat. Earlier that day. You feel yourself slowly succumbing to unbearable pain. You don't think you'll be able to survive this much longer. Hey there. Oh, she was also in the opening screen that I chose. Ruby Timora, attorney, 46, and no arcane arts either. Are you sure you're okay, Cuthbert? You look like you're about to pass out. Hey. Don't worry about me, Miss Timora, I'm fine. You've been riding in this carriage for days. You are definitely not fine. With each bump in the road, you feel yourself becoming more and more nauseous. It's taking every ounce of willpower just to hold down your lunch. I'm perfectly fine. If you say so. Look, you feel the carriage drive over a large bump in the road. You can feel and hear your stomach retching in protest. That stew you ate for lunch doesn't taste nearly as good the second time. On second thought. That's better. You take a deep breath of fresh air. It's the first breath that you've taken today that hasn't threatened to come back out. Sorry about this. I didn't expect the roads in this town to be this uneven. I suppose they don't get a lot of traffic here. You've been on the road with your mentor for days. Together, you've been searching for a man named Flintheart McCoy. Supposedly, he's been a voice of dissidence against King Olivier for the last few decades. You have no idea what kind of business Miss Timora would have with him. But you know better than to ask questions about her affairs. Probably not going to be important ever again. Hello, travelers. Welcome to Cornhaven. A local merchant steps out from one of the nearby shops, and I'm going to have a sip of my chocolate milk. He has a wide smile on his face, and he approaches your carriage with the enthusiasm of a starving vulture. Would a pair of dignified individuals such as yourselves care for a refreshing drink? Those clothes, they must be from the city. He is happy about that, though. Thinks he can wring some money out of us, I guess. He certainly has a friendly expression, but his thoughts seem very analytical. Well, I don't need a drink, but I don't need a drink. Miss Timora glances at you, and your stomach rumbles in agreement. Ah, of course, I have just the thing for an upset stomach. With a carriage like that, I bet I could fleece them for a lot. His thoughts and emotions are laid bare through your eye of horrors. Okay, so we don't have magic of our own, but we do have a magical item. But the merchant's expression doesn't betray a hint of what he's truly thinking. You wonder if his false smile could get any bigger. At this rate, he might dislocate his jaw. How about 2 flasks of apple juice for 50 silver pieces? 50 SP? You may find the price daunting, but this is organic and fresh-made apple juice. It's just store-bought juice, but I bet they can't even tell the difference. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot an empty bottle of store-bought apple juice. It's resting on a table inside the merchant's shop. Store-bought apple juice. Type clue. The Cornhaven merchant has a bottle of store-bought apple juice. It's resting on a table inside his shop. It's suspiciously empty. Store-bought apple juice has been added to your notes. Notes. Tyrion will make mental notes of notable clues he sees in the world. These notes are instrumental to solving mysteries and progressing through the game. You can check these notes at any time by opening the toolbar in the top left of the screen. Trust me, it's worth the extra gold. So is that like the one of the L buttons? Oh, okay, so this shows me the controls, I guess. Notes menu, trying. Okay, which is, for some reason, I guess it's showing PlayStation buttons, but that's fine, I guess. Hide UI, whatever. Confirm. Toggle autoplay. Start for the save load menu. Okay, I guess let's have a save. Maybe. And then triangle. Spells. We're going to learn spells. Profiles. Okay. Normally the price wouldn't matter much to you, but you don't appreciate being treated like an easy mark. Ooh. Argument. Arguments. You've started an argument with another character. During an argument, your opponent will make claims that you need to respond to. Responding correctly will lower your opponent's confidence. Responding incorrectly will lower your confidence. And once you run out of confidence, you will lose the argument. I think you need to elaborate. You said this apple juice is organic, but where is it made? It's produced by the hard-working people of this town, of course. I only trade organic products. In a small town like ours, we only deal with locally sourced products. For certain claims, you will need to present a piece of evidence to refute that claim. To proceed, present the piece of evidence that contradicts your opponent's claim. I guess I don't have a choice but to present right now. And well, I wonder which of these clues I should pick. I'm not so sure. How about the 4-starred Japaloose? Oh, square, which is, I guess, this button. You say that, but I can see an emptied booth of store-bought juice inside your shop. Why would you have something like that if you only deal with organic products? Oh, how did that get there? Make no mistake, I only have that because I wanted to see how my products compare to that of the city. And let me tell you, that mass-produced slop doesn't even compare to my product. What an obvious lie. This juice is worth far more than what I'm offering. Honestly, I'm offering you a very good deal. Okay. Interpreting during arguments. For certain claims, you will need to look at your opponent's thoughts and emotions. Choose the correct response depending on the information seen. Logic. Choose this option if your opponent's thought contradicts something in your notes. Intuition. Choose this option if your opponent's thought contradicts their claim. Oh, okay. Empathy. Choose this option if your opponent's emotions contradict their claim. So the claim is the thing at the top, I guess. My conscience is clear, for example, in that screen there. And the notes obviously is, whatever's in our notes. Intuition, if their thought contradicts the claim. The thought is the thing in yellow, I guess. And the emotion is the emotes thing. Okay, empathy for the emotes, intuition for the thoughts, and logic for the things. This juice is worth far more than what I'm offering. I usually only sell this stuff for 5 SP a flask. Okay, it even says here what it does. Use this against claims that contradict pieces of evidence. Use this against claims that contradict thoughts seen through the eye. I mean, we're not really seeing any emotions. I guess it's gotta be intuition. Also, it totally, contradicts. Sir, it's obvious these flasks are only worth 5 SP. What? How did you? Well, it's clear you're a very shrewd man. Right. Argument 1. Huh. He didn't put up too much of a fight after that. Hey, who's that? A child. I'm so thirsty. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot a child watching you from afar. Her eyes are fixed on the flasks of apple juice. How about 20 SP for 3 flasks? Of course, sir. That's still a good deal for him, right? 5 SP per flask. He's making 5 SP then. You know? The kingdom of Wurrengard, established several centuries ago by the 7 High Archmages. That's a sick-ass fucking dragon tower. The kingdom is currently ruled by King Olivier de Wurrengard and the mages of his nobility. The nobility will tell you that our marvelous kingdom is a land of prosperity and happiness. A land where its people share the wealth and succor provided by the kingdom's magic. Thank you. I haven't had anything like this in years. The child's passing thoughts tell you exactly how much succor this kingdom is sharing. I didn't know you had such an eye for rural economics. Well, I suppose I just have a good intuition for this sort of thing, so she doesn't know about our magical thought-reading item. Or did you use another kind of eye, or she does? Don't get me wrong, your so-called Eye of Horus is an amazing gift. You should take every opportunity to hold it. But try to be more subtle next time. If I can see through you, others will be able to tell. Right. Anyways, why would that be a problem? Anyways, I did some asking around while you were haggling. Supposedly the McCoy Tavern should be north of here. If my tip is correct, this should be the place. Wait, this is the McCoy Tavern? With the state it's in, calling it a tavern is being pretty generous. We find it hard to believe that this has a secret meeting place for dissidents. But now that you think about it, maybe that's the entire point. The tavern has been shut down for years. Nowadays, Flintheart just uses it to host his rallies. Although I do wonder how they've been keeping themselves afloat for this long.
Hey, you lot! The McCoy Tavern is closed.
That's the gruff man. I think he might be the victim here. For the case that's about to happen, right? A gruff man approaches your carriage as you step out of it. He's eyeing you and Miss Teroma, a clear look of contempt on his face. I take it that you're Flintheart McCoy.
I am. What of it?
Flintheart McCoy, unemployed. I thought he was the owner of this place. Sorry for not writing ahead of time. But I'm Ruby Tamora. I wanted to speak with you.
Ruby Tamora? Wait, is he Ruby Tamora?
Any animosity he initially had immediately vanishes. He lets out a laugh. It's as if he were meeting an old friend.
Why didn't you say so? Come on in.
You didn't expect someone like him to know about Mr. Mora. But you suppose it makes sense. They both fight against the same enemy, albeit in different ways. I think we saw that painting on the right. Right, I guess it was from the scene where the murder actually happened.
Sorry about the mess. We haven't exactly been... Well, anyways, what brings you here? I take it you didn't journey all this way to see my wrecked tavern.
I'm here on behalf of a client. We have a proposition that you might be interested in. Is there anywhere where we could talk more privately?
Sure, the kitchen is empty.
Wonderful. Tyrion, stay here while I speak with Miss McCoy.
What? Don't you need my help?
There's no need for that.
Like hell, there's no need for that. If she's trying to make a deal with Flintheart, you can easily read his thoughts to help her. Oh, you, right. Sometimes I sort of like the fact that this here is not actually Tyrion speaking, but rather him kind of speaking to us, or rather the voice speaking to us is sometimes still not exactly apparent to me, but I guess maybe it's the voice of the Eye of Horus or something. Or it's just the narrator, and it's some funny business. Ooh, look at that eye. That look in her eye. You desperately want to object, but she shoots you a stern look that causes you to freeze up. You slowly look away from her. You spent some time waiting alone in the tavern's dining area. It's already been hours since Miss Tamora and Flintheart went to talk in the kitchen. You can hear faint murmurs from behind the closed door, and you've been resisting the urge to eavesdrop. But even from here, you can tell their conversation is slowly becoming more frustrated. It looks like they're going to be a while. Well, it's a good thing you always bring a chess set around. Solo chess, I guess. Solving some chess problems. You bring out the small chessboard and that you've carried around since you were a child. Chess can be played with one person, and you've always taken advantage of that. Oh. Checkmate. You win against yourself, this time as black. I've played 10 games already and I've won 7 out of 10 times as black.
Hello.
She's cute. She's the one from the, chapter selection. Statistically, white is more likely to win. Unbeknownst to you, you're thinking out loud. So why am I performing so much better when playing as black? Why, because you're an underdog.
Hello?
You still don't notice her, and you're verbalizing your thoughts just as fast as you're thinking them. Am I becoming overconfident as white because it has first move advantage? Or perhaps that very advantage is affecting my choices and making me play in an optimal manner? If a personal quirk is making me play illogically, then I need to correct it. Hey! What? How long have you been standing there?
It's about time you noticed me. I've been trying to get your attention for a while now.
Oh, sorry.
Do you know where my dad is?
Your dad?
Flintheart McCoy. I'm his daughter, Celeste.
Mercenary, she is as an occupation. 19 years old, arcane art transmutation. Oh, Flintheart's speaking with my mentor. Oh, so is she our mom, or are we just accidentally calling her mom? Like a child would their teacher.
I wanted to show him something. Do you know when they'll be done?
I don't know. They've been speaking in the kitchen for a while. Flintheart and Miss Tamora's voices getting louder and more frustrated, but Celeste doesn't seem to notice. Her eyes seem to be focused on your chessboard.
This is chess, right? Are you playing against someone?
Oh, I'm playing against myself, actually.
Oh, that's...
You feel a judgmental stare. Playing alone helps me develop my new strategies. Plenty of professionals do it.
Hey, I'm not the type to shame a man for playing with himself.
Ayo, look at that expression also. Beautiful work. That's...
Relax, I'm just joking. Anyways, if you're still waiting for your mentor, do you want to play a game?
Oh, you know how to play?
Sure, I've read about this before.
She's read about it? She's gonna kick our ass.
This table is so dusty.
Celeste takes a seat on the other side of the table. She tries to set up her side of the board but fumbles with the pieces. She stares at one of them confused.
How do I arrange these things again?
A part of you regrets accepting her challenge, but it would be impolite to back out now. Here, I'll arrange them for you.
Thanks.
Checkmate. You defeat her in 2 moves. Oh.
Wait, what? Already?
How did you do that? You decide against telling her what the name of that mate was.
Rematch me. I want to do over. I want to do over.
Sure, why not? It's not as if you have anything better to do. Celeste's brow furrows as she tries to decide on her next move. But she hasn't realized that the game is already finished. Here! She moves her knight into a position to attack your queen. It should have stopped your assault on her king, but checkmate. A scholar's mate this time. What? Come on, how do you keep doing that? You look at the closed door into the kitchen. Flintheart and Mr. Mora's discussion is becoming louder. It doesn't sound like they'll be done anytime soon. Again, I'll definitely beat you this time. Okay, well, she's tenacious. For someone who had clearly never played before, she's quickly improving with each game. It's impressive. She's observing your strategies and adapting them to her playstyle. With the way she's playing now, she could even defeat a nationally ranked noble. Checkmate. But even so, you've been playing this game for a lot longer than she has. How are you always one step ahead of me? It's like you're reading my mind. Are we using that? As if you'd even need to. Just one more game. I'll get you this time. Hello, Cuthbert. Mr. Mora emerges from the kitchen with Flintheart. They both look mentally exhausted. It looks like negotiations didn't go well. Hi, Dad.
Oh, hello, sweetie.
Flintheart looks irritated, but as soon as he sees Celeste, he quickly hides behind a smile. So the claim... I guess it might not be a claim, but the thing about hearing them arguing, there might be something specific behind that, because right now they seem like they're just fine with one another. You wonder what their discussion was about.
What's this? Some kind of game?
Mr. Mora glances at pieces on the board. Don't feel too bad about losing to him. He's nationally ranked. Oh, you're a professional. Is that why you're wearing a suit? No, chess is just a hobby. I'm actually a defense attorney. An attorney? Speaking of which, we should probably be on our way.
Aye, sorry for refusing you after you came all this way. I really respect what you're doing, but I don't want anything to do with your mage friends.
Oh, she seems scared.
You wonder what he meant by that? Also, I guess, yeah, she knows some magic, so maybe that hurts her personally. Or maybe her mother was a mage or something.
Was Mr. Mora trying to introduce him to one of our clients? Anyways, it is getting late. If you leave now, you won't get back to the city until morning.
She's right. This region is littered with bandits and brigands. You wouldn't want to run into them this late.
I guess you have a point.
We have plenty of empty rooms that you can stay in until morning. It's the least I can do after you came all this way.
Well, if it's not too much trouble, we might as well stay here until tomorrow. The tavern is shut down, but we still have some sheets and blankets. I'll go get the rooms ready.
I should maybe not make her voice. It probably doesn't sound very high-pitched, but I'm trying to make it high-pitched. I should probably not, because she's probably going to be a reoccurring. And those high-pitched voices are hard for me. Celeste and Flintheart leave the dining area to get your rooms ready. You're left in the dining room with Mr. Mora. So I take it that negotiations didn't go well?
No, I didn't expect him to be so stubborn. Honestly, I have no idea what that man has against mages.
Well, there is one way to find out. Why are you being so secretive? If your business with Flintheart is related to our clients, I can help.
It wasn't important, and your presence was not necessary.
That's such an obvious lie, but you can't read a single thought from her mind. She's had years of practice hiding her thoughts from the eye of Horus. Celeste enthusiastically came back downstairs, but she seems to have noticed the tension between you and Mr. Mora.
Sorry to interrupt, but your rooms are ready now. Right.
Thank you. An awkward silence hangs in the air as you and Mr. Mora head upstairs. You reach the upper hallway and see the two rooms that Celeste prepared for you. Mr. Mora stops before entering her room.
You were playing chess with Flintheart's daughter earlier. Was she any good?
Not at first, but she got a lot better as we kept playing.
I'm sorry for leaving you there for so long. I didn't expect our discussion to last that long.
No, it's fine. Despite everything, I enjoyed playing against her.
I see. Well, I suppose you are at that age.
No, it's not like that. It's just that outside of tournaments, I never really get to play against another player.
And you only ever want to play shogi against me. Oh. Because shogi is clearly superior. I mean, I've never played it, but if she says so, then it's gotta be true. It's complete anarchy, that is what it is. Sounds clear. You just bring fallen pieces back to life like some kind of necromancer. Awesome. It adds depth. Dropping adds a dimension of play that isn't present in chess. You sternly look at each other, your positions already made. After a few moments of silence, you both burst out laughing. I'm sorry if it looks like I don't trust you. I know you're just trying to help. But there are some things about my work that I just can't tell you about yet. But one day, I'll tell you everything. Right, I'm sorry for prying. She's totally gonna die, isn't she? I just want to show you I'm ready to be an attorney. You are. I know you are. The rare praise from your mentor catches you off guard. Anyways, get some rest. You should mentally prepare yourself for the journey tomorrow. Right. You completely forgot about the carriage right back. You can already feel your stomach churning in protest. Oh no. You lay in the bed that the McCoys prepared for you, and as you close your eyes, you slowly drift into a deep slumber. As this happens, you feel something invasive, like this chocolate milk invading my mouth, I guess. Your mind drifts away, and you feel yourself being pulled elsewhere. You find yourself in a surreal and unsettling landscape. You're fairly certain that you're dreaming right now, but some instinct in the back of your mind tells you that something is fundamentally wrong about this. What? You see a woman in the far distance. She's staring directly at you. What? Presence. She's murmuring something, but you can't quite make it out. Is she trying to say something to you? Finally found. I finally found you, Heaven Spoon, or something. You're jolted wide awake. Is there like a log? Text log, R2. Heaven's Born, huh? Can't exactly remember what that woman said to you. But whatever her words were, they sent a piercing chill down your spine. Your breath is heavy and your heart is beating at 100 miles per hour. Calm down, it was just a dream. At least that's what you try to tell yourself. Please, just let me explain. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You hear the voices of Celeste and Flintheart ring out from downstairs. It must be extremely late. What could they possibly be arguing about at this hour? I want you out of my house! Out! A dead silence lingers in the air before you hear someone rush out of the tavern. Whoever left slams the door behind them. What was that all about? It's none of your business. You only met those two today. It would probably be best not to get involved in their affairs. And as you tell yourself that, a brief image of Celeste's smile appears in your mind. Damn it. You slowly make your way out of your room. The hallway is always nearly pitch black. You can barely see a few inches ahead of you. You have to watch your step to avoid tripping. You run into Flintheart, who was slowly walking up the stairs. Even this close, it's hard to see his expression in the darkness. Sorry, I just heard... Right, I forgot you two were... His words trail off. Is everything okay? Sad and, scared, I guess? Sorry, I'm just going to... You awkwardly shimmy past Flintheart to head down the stairs. He doesn't move out of the way. It's clear his mind is elsewhere. You arrive at the dining room, but you don't see Celeste anywhere. Honestly, though, it's hard to tell with how dark the room is. Celeste, are you still here? You don't receive an answer. You remember hearing someone slam the front door earlier. Your eyes are drawn to the tavern entrance. Celeste? No answer. Celeste, where are you? The merchant you spoke with before steps out from his shop holding a lantern. He appears to be irritated by all the noise you've been making. Oh, you're that kid from before. Do you have any idea what time it is? This isn't the city. You can't just make a bunch of noise like this. Right, sorry. I was just looking for Celeste. Who? Celeste McCoy? She's Flintheart's daughter. The merchant's expression becomes a little colder. Do you know them? What do you want with that bastard? That damn mage. Magism is rampant here, I guess. What? Those two probably woke up half the street with all their yelling. I don't need you keeping us up too. If I hear any more noise, I'm going to call the town guard. Nice. Before you can get a word in, the merchant walks back into his home in the hut. You look around, but you still don't see any sign of Celeste. You decide to continue searching. I can't believe I said those things to her. She'll never forgive me for this. I see your temper is as short as ever, Flintheart. You! Honestly, how do you live in this darkness? Luxo? A light spell, I guess. What are you doing here? And how dare you bring that witchcraft into my home? You've been busy lately. Your little rallies have gained quite a lot of support. Too much support for my family's liking. And what? You came all this way to convince me to stop? You have my word. If you stop spreading dissidence, no harm will come to you or your family. Ha! Your word is as good as the dirt you lick off King Olivier's boots. Damn. As if I'd ever trust the words of a murderer like you. What? You would never murder anyone. Come on, that's crazy. That's fucking preposterous. Like, come on, if he was a murderer, why wouldn't he just kill you? Come on. Why? Like, come on. Flintheart, please. As someone you once called a friend, I'm only going to ask you one more time. Friend? Friend? I'll be dead in the ground before I ever call the likes of you a friend. Oh, surely you won't actually be dead in the... That's just a phrase, you know, he's just saying that. Get out of my house. I don't have time for your nonsense. Unfortunately, I don't think you'll have much time for anything. Gah! Damn it. Damn it. Flintheart, you fool. Why couldn't you have just listened to me? You kind of went out and killed him pretty quickly. Rudolph, I require your assistance. Yes, sir. By the Scaled Lord. What did you... I guess the Scaled Lord is the dragon on that tower, maybe. You killed him. Alert the town guard. Tell them that you saw his daughter fleeing the scene. I'm sure the neighbors heard them arguing with each other. They'll immediately suspect her. At once, sir. You've been searching for Celeste for a while. How long have you been outside? 2 hours? 3? However long it's been, it's clearly taking a toll on you. Where is she? What am I going to do now? She's still sad. You hear a faint voice. Could it be? Oh! As you peer behind an old tree, you finally find her. She looks just as tired as you are. Probably even more so. Her eyes are puffy and red, but she's doing her best to hide it with a smile. I've been looking all over for you. Oh, sorry. I'm guessing we woke you up? Yeah. Is everything okay? It's nothing. It was just an argument. Was it now? But from the way she reacted, this is clearly not common. You suppose that it's none of your business. You decide not to pry further. Have you been looking for me all this time? I have. Thank you. But I'm okay now. You should head back. What about you? I think I'm going to stay out a little longer. You know that you should mind your own business, but I'm sure whatever happened between you two, it's nothing you can't talk about. Well, yeah, talk about it the next time you meet, right? Haha. It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes Miss Timora and I get into fights too. But no matter what happens, we were always able to talk through it. Sorry, I know it's none of my business, but I just... No, really, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, there's a little bit of happiness. But still sadness and, fright. You're right, let's go back. What? You arrive back at the McCoy Tavern. But it's now surrounded by several carriages and knights clad in armor. In plate armor. Is that the Inquisition? This music slaps. What? The Arcane Inquisition. They're an order of knights that investigate crimes committed using magic. As you say the word crimes, you see you and Celeste share a glance and come to the same realization. Both of you rush towards the tavern, but Celeste outpaces you by a large margin. Well, what? No! No! She reaches the tavern before you, and before anyone can stop her, she takes a look inside the inn. Whatever she saw makes her cry out in anguish. She drops to the ground in tears. Oh hey, we saw you in that tutorial thing. There she is. He's a knight, Orem White, 64 years old, and no magic. Celeste McCoy, by the authority of the Wyvern Guard Crown, I'm placing you under arrest. Upon seeing Celeste, one of the knights steps forward and grabs her. Is he gonna be like Gumshoe, where he's actually a good guy? But you know, he's just on the opposite side, or is he actually a turd? He looks kinda mean, but who knows? Surprisingly, she's able to break free from his grip and tries to push further into the tavern. Noticing the commotion, 3 other knights rush to grab her and begin dragging her away. She kicks and screams against them, desperately trying to break free. Even between the 3 knights, it's taking all of their strength to subdue her. Dang. What are you doing to her? What's going on here? Tyrion. Miss Timora approaches you. You breathe a small sigh of relief when you see that she's okay. Miss Timora. Bah! I should have known that he was one of yours. Just stay out of our way. Miss Timora, what's going on? Why is the Inquisition here? I'm surprised myself. But from what I understand, Flintheart McCoy has been murdered. Murdered? Sure, I'll save my game. I guess I'll, have one save and one for each chapter. Or, one for each saving prompt. Whatever you want to call it. You follow the Inquisition back to the city where Celeste is being detained. According to Miss Timora, Celeste was the prime suspect in Flintheart's murder. And due to the supposed nature of the crime, her case would be pushed to trial immediately. But many elements of the situation still don't make sense. The Inquisition only investigates crimes committed using magic, so why is Celeste their prime suspect? Could she be a mage? I mean, I guess he's not privy to the knowledge of the text boxes. This is ridiculous. She has a right to speak to an attorney. Anyways, you find yourself met with another hurdle, a very frustrating one. Yeah, well, we can't let you see her until she's been processed. Her trial is in an hour. How has she not been processed yet? I don't know what to tell you, kid. I wish I could help. You don't need to use the eye to know that that's a complete lie. So you're really planning on defending her? Do you know if she can even afford a lawyer? I just can't stand here and do nothing. You saw them, didn't you? There's no way she would murder her father like that. All she was outside with me while it happened. Come on. I know that look. I was saving this for a special occasion, but... Attorney's Runestone. A magical runestone that allows you to take pictures of crime scenes and write notes telepathically. Every attorney has one. It's almost like a badge for them. Okay, so cool. So not only is it a thing that shows that we're an attorney, I guess, maybe. But also, an in-world explanation for how we can just have evidence like that. Is this an attorney's runestone? If you're going to defend her, you're going to need one. You begin to tear up. You've wanted one of these ever since you were a child. It's basically a badge of honor for attorneys. Don't cry, Cuthbert. Sorry. Anyways, keep one thing in mind. If you try to defend her, the Inquisition isn't going to fight you fairly. Our court system only exists to create the illusion of justice. They hate people like us, and they'll do anything, everything in their power to sabotage you. Sounds familiar. Damn it, you knew that they'd try to get in your way, but you didn't expect them to do it this blatantly.
What's with all this noise?
You're that knight from the tavern.
That's Commando Orm White to you, kid.
Orm White, he's a knight.
I had a feeling Tamora would be sniffing around this case, but I didn't expect her to send the kid to do her dirty work.
Commander, he says he wants to talk to the mage.
And she's got a right to an attorney, doesn't she?
Okay, so he has at least, he seems to be at least somewhat on the right of, on the side of justice. As far as the law is concerned, I guess, at least.
Well, she hasn't been processed.
Commander White looks confused for a moment.
The hell kind of bullshit are you trying to pull? Let him through, you idiot.
Okay, he might be cool,
Yes, sir.
The knight leads you through the halls of the dungeon. For something built in the capital, it looks extremely old and decrepit. Oh boy, all of the bad emotions. You pick up the negative emotions of the prisoners nearby. It's a heavy and almost crushing feeling. You've always had to avoid crowded places because of how sensitive you are to people's thoughts. You've never felt this much concentrated despair before. Oh, it's you. Oh, finally some happiness. Celeste is lying down on the cold floor of one of the dungeon cells. But she immediately gets up as soon as she sees you. What are you doing here? Mr. Mora told me about what happened to your father. I'm so sorry. I just don't understand. I don't understand any of this. Why would someone do this? Anger and sadness. And why are they blaming me for it? I'm not sure about the details, but it's clear that there were elements of magic involved in what happened. Since they arrested you based on that evidence, I can only conclude one thing. Celeste, you're a mage, aren't you? There's no sense in hiding it anymore. Yes, I am. Do you have a noble blood? Of course not. Why would you say that? Sorry, but the ability to use magic is hereditary. Most mages tend to have some kind of noble blood. I honestly don't like thinking about that. I'm the daughter of Jolene. And Flintheart McToy. That's all I need to know about myself. It would probably be best not to push them any further. Anyways, you were probably arrested because you're a mage. What? A crime was committed using magic, and you were the only mage around at the time. Not really, but yeah. Is that seriously the only reason? I only know how to cast one spell. The Arcane Inquisition doesn't care about... the truth. They only care about closing their cases. Celeste, your case is being pushed to trial. You're going to be brought before a judge within the hour. What? No one told me anything. Damn it, they weren't even planning on telling her? If you'll have me, I'd like to be your defensive counsel for the trial. Right, I forgot that you were an attorney. Would you really do that for me? After everything I've seen them do, I can't just stand by and do nothing. But they're a part of the kingdom. Do we even have a chance? It's hopeless. Celeste, man, king, or god, I won't let them do anything to you. What? Sorry, it's just something I have a habit of saying. How? No, don't apologize. I really appreciate you doing this. It's clear this entire situation is bittersweet for her. And because of the Inquisition's delays, you haven't had any time to investigate the crime scene. You were confident before, but you begin to doubt whether or not you can really do this. Everything is happening so fast, it feels unreal. No, you have to do this. This is the exact reason why you became a lawyer. No matter what happens, you'll acquit Celeste. We will certainly do that. The courtroom. I'm in the real courtroom. Actually entering the courtroom has taken a lot of wind out of your sails. You've never been here as an attorney before. You've only ever acted as Miss Tamura's assistant. The woman at the prosecutor's bench is staring at you. Miss Tamura mentioned her before you went to see Celeste. What was her name again? I think it was Arya Steelwind. Very cute. You can feel the coldness of her glare burrowing into you. Why is she staring you down? Is she trying to intimidate you? Because it's working. Wow. Court is now in session for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Oh, I didn't check his box. We'll do that soon. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Oh, the defense is also ready, Your Honor. He doesn't necessarily sound very ready. Okay, he's the judge, he's 80, and he doesn't have any magic. Regardless, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, please list the charges. The defendant is Celeste McCoy, a mercenary for hire and a registered mage. Wait, did she just say mercenary? What, can't you read the text boxes? Come on, Tyrion. Yeah, I had to take a job after my family's tavern was shut down. Oh, right. That's not exactly the first occupation you choose. She's charged with second-degree murder and negligent misuse of the arcane arts. I see. So there was magic involved. Yes, the crime occurred within the McCoy Tavern, a local inn that shut down years ago. The locals reported hearing a loud commotion coming from within the building. Hours later, a carriage driver that was nearby checked the disturbance. It was then that he found the victim, the defendant's sword still impaling his dead body. The Inquisition has provided an autopsy report and a record of the sword. Yippee. Autopsy report: Flintheart McCoy died after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. Fatal wound shows heavy traces of transmutation magic. From behind is probably going to be a key aspect here, because my perception of what actually happened was that the dude guy cast his spell from behind the guy, but transformed the magic or the thing or whatever that McCoy was holding, and that stabbed him from the front. That's what I was seeing in my vision, in my fantasy. I guess maybe that's not true, but maybe it is. We'll see. Celeste's sword. That's not what I was actually stabbing the guy. The alleged murder weapon. It's an ornately designed sword, but it has no magical properties. No magical properties, but there was lots of magic found on the dead guy. What was the defendant's relationship with the victim? I see that they share the same last name. The defendant is the victim's daughter, but not by blood. Oh. She was adopted into the family when she was an infant. Her birth parents are currently unknown. Okay. I thought maybe the Jolene at least was a noble or of noble blood, but I guess maybe both of them were just nice people. But who knows? I see. What an unfortunate turn of events. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orem White to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. You just said his name. Name's Orem White. I'm commander of the Arcane Inquisition. Orem, could you please testify about the details of the Inquisition's investigation? Yeah. Hey, witness testimony. Our first testimony. Let's have some water real quick. We got a call late at night. Someone discovered a dead body inside the McCoy Tavern. When we arrived on the scene, we found Flynnart McCoy dead on the floor. The defendant's sword was still inside of him. We have several witnesses who heard the victim and defendant in a loud argument before the body was discovered. The argument must have turned ugly, because the defendant killed the victim using her magic sword.
It's not a magic sword, though. Isn't that really incriminating? One of her possessions is the murder weapon. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. You open your mouth to respond, but nothing comes out. You can't think of anything to say. Everything's blank. Mr. Cuthbert?
Hey, what are you doing? This is the part where you say something, right?
I'm sorry, I don't... Your anxiety is just getting worse, and your breaths are becoming more and more desperate. Are you hyperventilating?
What a disappointment. I was hoping to fight against the infamous Ruby Tamora today, but it's clear you can't even hold a candle to her. Your Honor, it's clear that the defense has nothing to say against the prosecution's overwhelming evidence.
Yep, this case is pretty open and shut.
No, wait. This isn't what's supposed to happen.
I'm sorry, Tyrion. I couldn't acquit Faye. She was found guilty. What? But that means... Are they going to execute her? No, not again.
Are you seriously going to let that happen again? Wonder who Frey was.
Tyrion.
Celeste grabs your shoulders and shakes you out of your panic.
You need to calm down.
Her gaze is calm and focused despite the gravity of the situation, but she looks stern, not angry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to...
Stop, just listen to me. You know what to do, right? Just do it the same way you play chess.
What?
I don't know, you were just so calm and focused when you were playing before. No matter how close I got to beating you, you always knew how to stay calm and win. So just channel that feeling and look at the pieces.
It doesn't make any sense. And yet, you take a moment to focus and let everything else disappear from the world. Every statement that he made, every word that came out of his mouth, each of those is a possible weakness that you can attack. Every bleak moment can be turned around. You just need to consider every angle. My apologies for the delay, Your Honor. The defense is ready to begin cross-examining the witness.
Very well. There we go. Thank God that worked.
Carefully examine every statement he made and find something that contradicts the evidence in your notes. Once you do that, present the contradicting evidence and prove that this testimony is false. Wonder if I just can't press here. Cross-examinations. Okay, it seems like okay. You are cross-examining a witness. Carefully examine each statement they made and find the statement that contradicts a clue, spell, or profile in your notes. I guess maybe spells aren't spells that I learned, but spells that I know about. Once you identify the false statement, click the Present button and present the contradicting evidence to move forward. But what if I want to press? Someone discovered the dead body. Who? At what time exactly did you get this call? And who discovered the body?
The call came in at 1:25 a.m. As for the witness who discovered it, he wanted to remain incognito.
Well, that's suspicious as fuck. It's not unusual for a witness to stay anonymous. It's well within their right. But this would be a lot easier if you could question the witness directly.
What happened when you arrived, Commander?
When we arrived on the scene, we found the sword. How did you know that the sword was my client's?
Her sword is made out of some kind of special alloy. I think it was forged out of the country or something. It'd be hard to mistake something like that.
We also have several eyewitnesses who verified that the sword belonged to the defendant. She made no effort to hide it from the public. Quite the contrary, she was quite proud to show it off.
But even if the sword belongs to my client, that doesn't necessarily mean that she was the one who stabbed him.
Yeah, well...
Several witnesses were How did they know it was my client and the victim who were arguing?
You were there, weren't you? You had to have heard them too. Every witness we talked to knew it was them. Well... Yeah, that was, kind of pointless to press, but, it never hurts, usually.
Your Honor, it's clear that the defense is playing devil's advocate. Even he should have recognized the voices.
Yeah. Well, they've got you there. Yeah, well... Because the defendant killed the victim using her magic sword, I guess. So usually, in these games, I don't want to press the final statement unless, there isn't anything to present. Because then usually, you press them, and then some, like in the Ace Attorney games anyway, and then you get some dialogue that happens if you go through all the statements, and usually they give you some kind of hint. And I don't want that hint, but I also kind of want to see what happens, Like, I would present the sword here probably, or the wound, I guess. No, the sword, because as far as I know, the sword doesn't have any magic, but... let's press here and see what happens. That's conjecture. Weren't there plenty of people around who could have committed the crime? The tavern has been closed for years. The defendant, the victim, and Ruby Tamora were the only ones there before the body was discovered. Plus, the murder weapon definitely belonged to her. Well, it's a given that Mr. Tamora didn't do this, and it'll be hard to prove that someone else was at the crime scene. But you can't help but feel that there's something off about what he just said. You shouldn't have panicked so much before. This testimony is straightforward, but that will actually make this easier. Assuming that Miss McCoy is innocent, there has to be a flaw in his logic. You just need to compare every statement to each piece of evidence in your notes. Once you find a contradiction, present that piece of evidence to the court, a contradicting statement. Alright.
Nothing too special happened.
I guess it's kind of nice that you just hit left and right and this full statement appears, rather than in the Ace Attorney games you always kind of have to hit it twice so that the statement starts showing up and then the full text appears, you know what I mean? But anyway. The victim using her magic sword. Well, alleged murder weapon. It's an ornately designed sword, but it has no magical properties. Objection! Commander White, you testified that the victim was killed using the defendant's magical sword. Am I correct? Yeah, it's pretty obvious when you look at the crime scene. I think I'd actually have to disagree with you on that. The defendant's sword couldn't have possibly been the murder weapon. What are you talking about, kid? The sword was inside his body. Of course that's what killed him. That may be the case, but take a look at the autopsy report. It states that the fatal wound had heavy traces of magic. So how would a non-magical sword leave traces of magic on the body? What? She was aware of this, of course. To leave a trace like that, the wound would have had to have been created with something magical. My client's sword may look fancy and expensive, but it's entirely mundane. That doesn't make a lick of sense. If the sword didn't kill him, then why was it in the body? Yes, I find that quite strange as well. Well, there's only one reasonable explanation, Your Honor. The wound was created magically, and someone shoved the sword into the wound afterwards. What the hell are you talking about? The defendant is a damned mage. She could have easily killed the victim using magic. That may be, Commander, but why would she kill the victim using magic and then stab him with her sword? She would just be incriminating herself. Yeah. No, if anything, this series of events proves one thing. Someone used magic to kill the victim, and then they pushed my client's sword into the wound to frame her.
Objection!
Don't get ahead of yourself.
What?
Your Honor, the defense is trying to spin the facts in his favor. He claims that a third party committed the crime and used the sword to frame the defendant. But wouldn't a simpler explanation be this? Magic was being channeled through the sword at the time of death.
Yeah, I was thinking that also was a possibility. To explain this.
That is why what left the magical trace on the body. Commander, please tell the defense how the murder was committed using magic.
What? Alright. I think I see where you're going with this. It's true that the sword itself isn't magical, but magic can still be channeled through it. That defendant over there, her spell compendium has a spell called Mage Blade. She must have used it on her sword before stabbing the victim. That spell is the reason why there were traces of transmutation magic on the wound. Transmutation, huh? So her spell compendium contains a spell called Mage Blade. A spell compendium is a magical device that lists every spell a mage can cast. Luckily, Celeste's compendium only contains one spell. That means she can only cast that one spell. Celeste, do you have your spell compendium with you?
No, I left it at the tavern after... Well, you know.
If you can't look at the description of Mage Blade, you'll have to approach this another way. The commander's testimony was a lot vaguer this time. If you can press his statements, you might be able to find new information that you can use against him. Pressing statements. During cross-examinations, you can press statements to acquire more information. Sometimes pressing the right statement can make the witness add a statement to the testimony. Well, let's do the classic, pressing everything stat. Are you saying that my client used a spell and channeled it through her sword?
There are a vast number of spells that operate like that. Spells from the School of Transmutation are almost always channeled through an object.
Uh-huh. Mage Blade. Mage Blade?
It's a transmutation spell that sharpens my sword. I usually use it when I need to cut through an enemy's plate armor.
I didn't realize that she led such a lethal lifestyle. But anyways, wouldn't it be excessive for the defendant to use a spell like that on the victim? He wasn't wearing any kind of armor at the time of death.
The victim and the defendant were in an intense argument. Perhaps she used the spell in a fit of rage. It was a crime of passion, after all.
That theory is a little far-fetched. But you'll need hard evidence if you want to disprove it. Yeah. She must have used her arm before. But why would she go to the trouble of doing that? Her sword alone would have been enough to commit the murder. That's kind of what we already talked about. Mages are always looking for an excuse to throw their power around. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Isn't that just your own personal bias, Commander?
We don't need to understand why the defendant did what she did. The fact of the matter is the magic was present at the time. Do you have any evidence of the contrary?
You don't yet. Wait a minute, do I? What was the transmutation magic? I guess that fits, right? Yeah. That spell is the reason why there were traces of transmutation magic on the sword. But we don't have info about the spell yet. If she used a spell like that, wouldn't that have created traces of magic on the ground? How so? Well, let's say we follow the prosecution's theory. That would mean that the victim fell to the ground with the sword still inside him. At this point, Mage Blade would still be active, right? It would definitely leave a magical trace on the ground after making physical contact with it. We're already way ahead of you. We had our people scan the crime scene. You look so cocky now. And we found traces of transmutation magic right under the body, just like you said. Oh. If you still don't believe me, I have a picture of the crime scene right here.
Oh? Why was this picture not brought to my attention?
There was no need. This entire case is open and shut. So what do you think? The crime scene picture has been added to your notes. You've seen pictures of the dead before, but it feels a little different now that the body is of someone you knew. Looks like there are traces of magic on the ground. And it sure looks like he was stabbed from the front, huh? But the shape is a little weird, isn't it? Huh. Yeah, she realizes it too, huh? What was that just now? You can see right in the photo, she cut him with a stab from the front. Well, did she know? That's a bit of an odd statement of seeing this. Ah, wait, no, here, yeah. Right, here it says he was stabbed from behind. Okay, now I see, okay. Yeah, that's how I present it. Because presenting just a photo that doesn't say, you know, that he was stabbed from behind or something would have been kind of uncertain, I guess. But this makes it pretty clear. Wow. I'm sorry, Commander White, but it seems that you've presented another glaring contradiction. Oh yeah? And what's that? You said that my client stabbed the victim from the front. Am I correct? Yeah, you can see it plain in the picture. So where's your contradiction? That's the thing, Commander. Your picture clearly shows that the victim was stabbed from the front. But the autopsy report says that he died from a stab from behind. What?
Objection!
RM, you were supposed to release everything you had. Why wasn't this photo given to me?
There was no need. There's no way it could have been anyone other than that damn mage. Well, a mage was involved, if you're being magist. Murmurs ring out across the gallery. It didn't matter how corrupt the justice system was. They wouldn't be able to cover up such a blatant incompetence. Such blatant incompetence. You have them right where you want them.
Order in the court. Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this?
I'll tell you what the meaning behind this is, Your Honor. As the autopsy report states, the victim died from a stab wound originating from his back. But this photo clearly shows that the sword entered from his front. This can only mean one thing. The sword was inserted into the wound after the fatal wound had already been created. That's crazy. Do you honestly expect us to believe that? Then please enlighten me, Commander White. How else would the sword be facing the opposite way? It was stabbed really hard with a blunt end. Do you think my client stabbed the victim with the hilt of her sword? I mean, hey, did you see how hard she was to hold back by all of those knights? She could do it. I didn't think so. What really happened is clear. The real murderer struck the sword through the victim's wound to implicate my client. But they made a careless mistake and stuck the sword through the opposite side.
Objection!
It appears that I underestimated you, Mr. Cuthbert. But you still got ahead of yourself.
Really, Mr. Steelwind? I believe that Mr. Cuthbert has adequately cast doubt on your case.
Oh, did he now? Then let me ask you one question, Mr. Cuthbert. If your client didn't kill Mr. Flintheart McCoy, then who did?
Well, a third party. How should I know? If I'm not mistaken, it's the commander's job to figure that out.
Oh, I'm well aware of the commander's incompetence.
Yeah.
But one fact still stands. There was magic detected on the wound and the sword. Would you like for me to tell you how many mages live in that small town?
You don't like where she's going with this?
Just one.
So? We were traveling there. We didn't come from there. Somebody else could have traveled and been there. For whatever reason.
There's only one registered mage in that entire town. And that mage is your client.
What? I don't find that argument too compelling.
The defendant was also established to have been with the victim hours before his death. She was the last known person with him, and she was the only mage there. In addition to that, I have several witnesses who heard them arguing. And I'm going to drink some chocolate. How she murdered the victim is simply an unanswered question.
I see. That certainly does change matters. I can't say that the prosecution's evidence is irrefutable. But there's still evidence to cast guilt upon the defendant. I guess here you are guilty until proven innocent. Damn it, you almost had them. There are far too many unanswered questions for me to pass a verdict. We will give law enforcement time to clear these unknowns. I suggest that they conduct their investigation more thoroughly this time. We will resume the trial until tomorrow morning. Okay, so it's not over. Like, of course it wasn't over, but I mean, they weren't ready to declare her guilty based on this. Court is adjourned. Bop. Oh, they're breaking Ace Attorney tradition by giving us some time to investigate on the first case. What?
Hello, Cuthbert.
As you walk out of the courtroom with Celeste, you are greeted by Mr. Morrow. Mr. Morrow, you're here. You recall how you froze up during the first cross-examination. You feel a little ashamed that your mentor saw all of that.
Well, at the end of the day, you were able to pull it together. And once you did that, you performed adequately. On that note, I wanted to give you this.
Celeste's Spell Compendium, hey. It's Celeste McCoy's Spell Compendium. It contains the formula for the following spell. Mage Blade. Mage Blade. Transmutation. Incantation Arcane. Gesture none. Duration 1 minute. Concentration, yes. Oh. They even bring the concept of concentration in this. For the duration of the spell, the edges of this object, usually a blade, become unnaturally sharp, making it more effective at slashing through tough material. While under the effects of the spell, the object emits a yellow radiant glow. The target object must be no larger than a 5-foot cube. Very D&D coded. Mage Blade, or
My spell compendium. I swept it from the dining area before the Inquisition arrived. I thought it'd be best for you to have it.
So this is your spell compendium, and it only has one spell.
Mage Blade.
This means that the prosecution has to prove that Celeste used that specific spell.
It will restrict how they approach this case, which gives you an edge over them. But that prosecutor is really something else.
You mean Prosecutor Steelwind? You can still remember her ripping glare. It gives you chills just thinking about it, but also her stunning beauty.
You wouldn't even know it, but it was also her first trial.
What?
Really? I thought that her inexperience would make for a good first opponent. But that girl, she's a natural in the courtroom. It makes me wonder why a Steelwind would choose to become an attorney in the first place. What do you mean? The Steelwinds are a powerful noble house. Of the noble families, they are one of the few who answer directly to the king. Most members of the house take high-ranking positions in the kingdom's military. So it's a bit strange that she chose to become a prosecutor despite that.
Steelwind? I feel like I've heard that somewhere before.
In any case, it's best that you focus on the trial. You have about a day until court resumes.
Right, now that I have time, I'd like to ask you some questions, Celeste. Namely about that argument you had with your father.
Oh.
You see the bailiff staring daggers at Celeste. It looks like they're waiting to take her back to her cell. Whatever questions you have for her will have to wait. Damn it!
I should probably go.
Celeste walks away while avoiding eye contact with you. Bringing up her argument with Flintheart may have struck a nerve. Well, it's an important topic, I'd say. I also use this opportunity to investigate the crime scene. I wouldn't be surprised if the Inquisition missed something. Maybe even on purpose.
You utterly embarrassed them today. Don't expect them to make the same mistake twice.
Right, there are still a lot of things we don't know about.
As much as I hate to admit it, your skills of deduction are far surpass mine.
Well,
if anyone can figure out what really happened that night, it's you.
oh, I kind of don't like us being better than her at something. But I guess that's what happens. Kind of have to hit the confirm button a weird number of times to actually save. You arrive back at the McCoy Tavern. Luckily for you, the Inquisition set up a teleportation circle for you to use. Neat. With that circle, you could magically teleport between the capital and the crime scene instantaneously. Yippee. It's definitely miles better than having to travel by carriage. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Commander White takes notice of you as you enter the tavern. It looks like he's working with a team of knights to investigate the crime scene. I'm the defense attorney in this case. I have just as much right to investigate this crime scene as you do. Yeah, whatever. Just remember, I got my eye on you, kid. I guess let's talk before I investigate. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Ha! As if I'd help the likes of you. I saw who your boss is, and I know what you're up to. That witch probably sent you here to con me. Oh, okay. What? I'm just looking for some information. A likely story. He was cooperative before when he let you see Celeste. Why is he being so stubborn now? Because he hates mages. Is he angry that you embarrassed him in court today? In any case, you won't get anywhere at this rate. If you want his help, you'll need to persuade him through an argument. Psychological profiles. It helps to prepare before starting an argument with someone, talk to him or present items to him to build a psychological profile for him. If you successfully fill the profile gauge, you'll receive more information during the arguments against him. Oh. It's a painting of a man in a suit. There's some text on it. Adam Evely, politician of the pedantic. I've heard of this guy. He's some kind of politician from one of the nations west of here. I heard he's pretty much a shoo-in to win whatever election they have going there. An election? Was Flintheart studying democracies for his little revolution? It's a painting of a mage, and there's some text on it. Samala Dalian, a legendary practitioner of the arcane arts, he mysteriously disappeared one day. It's rumored that he was developing a formula for a new transmutation spell. However, he was reckless in casting the spell, and Dalian quickly lost control of its magic. His body was never found. Many speculate that he didn't actually die during the accident. But if that's true, where did he end up? Sounds like a cautionary tale against using magic. That might explain why Flintheart keeps it in his tavern. The Inquisition lit some candles, but there's a magical lamp right there. I wonder why they are not using those instead. Because they are mages. It has little check marks on the things that you already have checked. That's nice. There's a modern-looking lamp mounted on the wall. It's a lamp powered by artificery. I didn't expect to find something this sophisticated in a town like this. Bah, artificery is just another form of magic. Actually, artificery draws from surrounding the... artificery draws from surrounding the ley lines too. I didn't ask for a science lesson, kid. Anyways, look where artificery got these folks. The arcane powers broke, and they haven't had any power for weeks. Yep, nothing can beat good old oil and flame. Broken power, so. The McCoy Inn is outfitted with several lamps powered by artificery. However, the arcane power cell has been broken for weeks, and the lamps can't be turned on. So White here hates magic and science. Duly noted. There's a broken bottle on the floor. It's shattered close to the chalk outline of the body. The label has the words Lotus Juice on it. I've never heard of that brand before. Must be foreign. The shattered remains of a glass bottle. You found it next to Flintheart McCoy's body. The label says the words Lotus Juice. Anything else left to investigate before we go to the most obvious one? Alright. There's a chalk outline of the person on the ground of the tavern. This is probably where Flintheart died. The outline matches the picture that the Inquisition took. Nothing seems out of place here. Can I go talk to her yet? I guess I'm probably not supposed to yet, huh? Let's give it a save. And I guess present some stuff to him to build that psych profile or whatever. Hey. I wonder what Lotus Juice is. It's definitely not any drink that I've heard of. It must be some kind of imported brand. I guess let's present everything. What do you think about this? I don't know what you're expecting me to say. Not much to say about that. It'll be best to try something else. No shit. The autopsy report seems to be pretty detailed in some aspects and vague in others. Why is that? I'm not sure about the details, but the autopsy is performed by a mage who studies divination. Their magic gives us details about how someone dies, but there's always a few blind spots. Blind spots? Like what? Well, for one thing, if someone mucks around with the body after death, the report becomes muddled. I mean, is that the fault of the magic, or just how things are going to be done? Divination magic can tell what happened to the body, but not in what order and at what time. But someone definitely stabbed Linhardt's body with this sword. If what he's saying is true, it will be that much harder to figure out what kind of weapon originally killed him. Still no profile info. That mage's sword really is strange. It's almost a shame that we had to confiscate it. Is it really that abnormal? It's definitely not like any kind of sword I've seen. I wonder if it was forged in the Eastern Kingdoms. Some Eastern nobles... What do you think about this? Okay. I've never seen a real spell compendium before. I'm still not exactly sure how they work. Well, spell compendiums are magical devices that display exactly which spells a mage can cast. You can probably guess, but the Inquisition uses these things all the time. Right, having that information is definitely a blessing for the defense and the prosecution. How are we not getting any psychological profile and stuff? This place has been without power for about a week. I wonder if there's any information I can infer from that. They've been using candles to keep the place lit. This is exactly why you can't rely on magic. Because candles definitely never go out. Well, what the fuck? How about mage light? What do you think about them? Okay. Oh, okay. Help! So, what does the Arcane Inquisition do exactly? You trying to pick a fight with me? No, I'm just genuinely curious. Well, I'm sure you already know, but us Inquisition investigators, Inquisitors investigate crimes that involve magic. Do crimes like this happen often? Nah, maybe once in a blue moon. It makes sense, most mages are in the nobility after all. Yeah, nobles never commit crimes. Even if they are untouchable, they don't make a habit of getting into trouble with the law. You must have an easy job then. Ha, you got that right. He's mad. The only reason we exist is to clean up the nobility's messes. Maybe he doesn't originally... Maybe his dislike for mages stems from his dislike of nobility. He doesn't seem that happy about that. Fine. Commander White, you seem to speak negatively about my client's magic. Do you have a personal grudge against mages? You're damn right I do. Wow, you didn't even try to deny it. If you had any sense, you would too. All a mage has to do is wave their hands and say some magic nonsense. Then you suddenly have a dead body on the ground. And don't get me started on mage blight. Mage blight? If some noble uses their magic too much, they end up snapping and going on a rampage. Oh. I don't know if this is going too far. Why join the Inquisition if you hate mages so much? Considering the fact that that my job is to sweep the nobility's crimes under the rug. Damn. Sorry, I didn't mean to insinuate. Nope, you have the right of it. Anytime a noble is involved in a case, I'm ordered to look the other way. Ding. You don't seem very happy to do that. Why would you stay in this line of work? Because every once in a while I'm allowed to put a criminal mage behind bars. We can't go after the nobles, but any other mage's fair game. Or at least they were before your boss showed up. Your boss? Does he have something against Mr. Mora? I guess we can talk about her now, eh? I have to ask, did something happen between you and Mr. Mora? Ha, Mr. Mora. What are you, her lackey or something? No, actually, she's my guardian. Uh-oh, I didn't know she even had it. Look, kid, I don't know what the deal is between you two, but no good will ever come from associating with her. This is about rumors, and this is about the rumors, isn't it? Throughout the years, there have been several insidious rumors surrounding Miss Tamora. She's been accused of forgery, blackmail, and all manner of illegal activities. It's clearly misinformation spread by the nobility to discredit her. She's always been fine with it, but you can't help but get angry on her behalf. It's more than just rumors. I've seen it for myself. That woman is evil, kid. She defends mages who don't have the protection of the nobility. She's not evil, she's a hero. Yeah, whatever. Orm White's psychological profile is complete. Maybe, how about we save again? And I drink some water. Then we start an argument. Commander White seems unusually hostile towards you. And you have a feeling it's not just because you embarrassed him in court today. If you can clear up this misunderstanding, you might be able to convince him to help you. Argument. Alright, I'm just going to come out and say it. Do you have a problem with me, Commander White? You should know exactly what my problem is with you. I saw who you work for. Do I have to spell it out for you? Ruby Tamora is a crooked lawyer. Or does your boss not tell you what she gets up to? R1 psychological bro. Commander White is stubborn and stuck in his way. He seems to have a grudge against Ruby Tamora and will react negatively if you try to defend her. However, he will respect you if you defend yourself against personal attacks. Elocutions? In arguments? Elocutions? What the fuck? Let me see what that is.
Elocution.
Elocution. The skill of clear and expressive speech. I see. Especially of distinct pronunciation and articulation. I see. I had never heard that word or seen it. Arguments are not always fought using hard evidence. Sometimes you need to elocute to convince your opponent that their claim is wrong. When prompted for an elocution, choose from one of the 3 possible responses. The correct response can be gleaned from reading your opponent's psychological profile. It doesn't matter how you feel about me or Miss Tamora, what matters is that my client deserves a fair trial with fair representation. That seems decent, because we're not necessarily defending her, but we're more defending, our cause. Deflect. Wait, no. Oh wait, no. That was rationalized, I'm sorry. I find it a little hard to tell which one is selected, even though it's, it does stand out, but, not enough, I feel like. That's fine, though. You have no right to throw baseless accusations against me or Miss Tamora. I mean, that kind of also fits the self-defense thing, I guess. But, also kind of a weak statement, right? Stop or deflect, regardless of what Miss Tamora has done. I'm the one handling this case. That also works. But I think this makes the most sense. Right? It doesn't matter how you feel about me or Miss Tamora. What matters is that my client deserves a fair trial with fair representation. All I'm trying to do is give that to her. I've seen that woman do all kinds of shady shit in the cases I've worked. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you name it. You're just another crook. I bet you're just the same, a successor for the devil of defense attorneys. Wait, here. I'm not Ruby Tamora, regardless of what you've seen her do, I'm going to run an honest case. Me being her successor has nothing to do with it. Forgery, bribery, blackmail? Have you seen me do any of those things? Because all I've done so far is point out the mistakes that you've made. Oh shit. Oh shit! I think all of those make some sense. Let's see it again. It's a little sucky that the speech bubble blocks the text. I mean, it's kind of translucent, but still. Stubborn and stuck in his ways. have a grudge against Ruby. You defend her. So, like this and this are kind of similar. But this one's more like fact-based, like, hey, you haven't seen me do anything. And this one's more like, I promise I'm not gonna do anything. And this is just kind of like, yo, don't compare me to her. Like, this would be like an attack on him at the same time as defending myself. I'm not sure if that would be good or bad here. I guess let's go with this. Like, hey, stop with your bias against me. I'm here to do a good job, okay? I'm not her. It doesn't matter if the rumors are true or not. Regardless of what you've been seen her do, I'm going to run an honest case. That seems to have it the spot. Look, kid, I'd like nothing more than to believe you. But after everything I've seen her do, I know better. I have no reason to trust you. Anyone taught by that woman can't be anything more than a crook. You kind of are repeating yourself, aren't you? You have no proof that she's a crook, and you sure don't have any proof that I'm one either. Huh? Nothing that I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. Have you seen me engage in any crook-like behavior? Not a huge fan of any of these, honestly. Like, both of these are pretty similar. And this is not too far off either. Maybe all of them would be decent. I'm guessing sometimes, like, you know, multiple would take away some of the opponent's, let's call it, health. But, you know, it's just how much. I guess just because he hasn't seen it doesn't mean that we haven't done anything. Or at least that he wouldn't believe that we would. Let's go that he doesn't even have a reason to suspect us, you know? Right now I'm just a defense attorney that's asking for you for information. Nothing that I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. Hey, argument one. You just want some info, right? Yes, that's all I'm asking for. Alright, I'll answer your questions. Just don't make me regret this. You successfully persuaded Orm White. Yippee! Did it save? I guess so. Talk. Let's talk about your mistake immediately. I can't believe you made such an obvious mistake during your investigation. Oh, shut it with that. I already got an earful from Steelwind about that mess. Well, you don't have to worry about me mucking things up. Steelwind's basically taken over the entire investigation. Wait, does she have the authority to do that? Normally she wouldn't. But I know better than to go against orders from a noble. Right, there's definitely a strange power dynamic between them. But honestly, that girl sweats the details too much. She even had my men draw up a scaled map of the crime scene. Wait, really? Do you have a copy? Sure, knock yourself out. Yippee! Don't know how much good it'll do you. Yay. Crime scene map. A geometrically scaled map of the crime scene. Sweet. I guess I can look at it like this. Wow, that looks so... when I play D&D, unless we're having a very rare offline session, we're using Roll20 to play. And this looks a lot like that. Sadly, the body isn't drawn in or anything, so that's a little weird. So about her. I heard that this was Prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. A pain in my ass is what she is. That damn noble comes in here telling me how to do my job. I honestly have no idea what she's even doing in this line of work. I heard that she's from a renowned noble house. She must be a pretty powerful mage. Ha! Powerful is an understatement. The steel winds who came before her could turn this entire town into a glass crater. What? There's no way that's true, right?
I think it might be.
I don't like that the cursor doesn't remember where I was. Murder weapon. This probably goes without saying, but why is this? Oh, right, because the circle button, in my case the B button, turns on auto. Let's see, what's the text log again? This probably goes without saying, but I don't believe that the sword is the murder weapon. Right, I guess you have to prove that someone else put the sword there. Did the Inquisition find anything suspicious on the scene? If you're asking me if we found another bloody weapon lying around, we definitely didn't. That would be a little too convenient, wouldn't it? But let's say that the girl really is being framed. If there was another murder weapon, the killer probably walked out with it. Yeah, if they were, gonna plant her weapon on the scene, then why not remove the other one? Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern? I do think so.
I think it's the bottle,
Or maybe it was another bottle that, has been replaced with a new bottle. I don't know. Doubt it. After the trial, Steelwind turned the place upside down and scanned it with her magic. If someone did hide a murder weapon here, they hid it well. Or they hid it in plain sight. You think you found everything that you can here? But what does it all mean? There's no murder weapon here to be found, and there's no obvious evidence of another person at the scene. Hey, you okay? You got quiet all of a sudden. Alright, just focus. Close your eyes and let everything else disappear from the world. Hey, you listening? So there's no clear evidence pointing to another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to how Flintheart moved before his death. What? What can we tell about how Flintheart died? There's no blood trail leading to or from the body. What does this imply about the location of Flintheart's death? Flintheart didn't move after the murder. No, there was no blood trail where Flintheart's body is. Well, yeah. Flintheart didn't move after the murder. The lack of a blood trail tells us something important. Namely, where Flintheart was throughout the murder. Like, during the murder? Huh? Flintheart didn't move. Wait, did I accidentally select before just now? Let's go with this again. Okay, I guess I just accidentally selected the wrong thing. Flintheart died where he was attacked. He didn't move from his position at all. Yeah, I guess you're right. There's also the autopsy report, which says that he died from a stab from behind. He was probably caught off guard and was too incapacitated to move anywhere else. This means that the attack happened at the exact position he fell over. Crime scene map, McCoy, Darren has been updated or not. A geometrically scaled mirror. This was also the... Wait. Flintheart died at the location of the V marker. This was also the location of where the murder must have occurred. There's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice.
How did the bottle shatter?
I doubt it means anything, but the shattered bottle is right next to the body. Flintheart dropped the bottle during the attack. After the attack. During the attack. Kind of the same thing, if you ask me, in a way. Flintheart dropped the bottle when he was attacked. From that, we can infer that he was holding it the moment before he was attacked. Also, I guess my theory about the bottle turning into the murder weapon, I guess isn't right because he actually got attacked from behind by the other guy's magic or something.
The shattered remains of the glass bottle. Flynard McCoy was holding this bottle and dropped it through during the murder. The label says orange lotus juice. What's so strange about one bottle then? It may seem like an insignificant detail, but that detail could help me infer other elements of what happened during the murder. Right. There's also the fact that the artificery lights were out. Were these candles here when you arrived at the crime scene, Orem? No, we had to light some so we could see the crime scene properly. We thought it was weird too. The girl and her father must have had their argument in the pitch black darkness. What can we infer about the state of the crime scene? Let me have some more of my chocolate real quick. So they didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights. The crime scene had no lighting before the murder? Were lit by the Inquisition after? Yeah. Dining room lights have had no energy? Yeah, I know. Seems strange, but this can only mean one thing about the room's lighting. I guess during again? Okay, like, in a lot of, like, in all of these I'd say, like, during and this time before and, I guess also after, I guess, but that wouldn't make any sense. And then in the previous two ones, after and during were like the same thing, basically. So it's a little finicky, I'd say, to have to choose the exact one, but whatever. The crime scene had no light during the murder. The McCoy Inn is out of use. However, the arcane power still has been broken for weeks. This means that the lights were not operational during the murder. The argument that Celeste had with Flintheart must have been spontaneous. They weren't planning to have a conversation in this room. In this darkness, Flintheart wouldn't have a lot of visibility. If he was stabbed from behind, he probably didn't see it coming. He was clearly surprised and was probably in too much shock to run away. Also, the bottle may seem insignificant, but he was holding it when he was attacked. Maybe he was pouring a drink for himself, or maybe it was for a visitor. Either way, the assailant must have been unseen by Flintheart. Kid. Or the assailant attacked him from his blind spot while his back was turned. Why would his back be turned, though? Was he distracted by something? Kid! What? What was that all about? What, you've never heard about an investigation? About thinking? Sorry, sometimes I get lost in my own thoughts. Yeah, well, cut it out. You're freaking me out. Right. Anyways, you think you found everything you can here? You should move somewhere else. But I don't want to move. Moving is fucking lame, man. Well, let's see if we can talk to our girlfriend. I mean, client. You return to the dungeon to speak with Celeste. But when you check the cell that she was being kept in, you see that it's empty. The Inquisition must be questioning her. You should come back later. Damn it! Lit torches are hanging on the wall of the cell. It seems a bit irresponsible to put a potentially harmful item in here with the prisoners. But perhaps the Inquisition doesn't care about that. Perhaps. There's only one locked door that leads into the cell. And it seems to be locked by some kind of magical mechanism. Damn magic! The cell has a barred window. Even if a prisoner somehow broke through the bars, there's a 3-story drop to freedom. So you're saying that there's a chance? Upstairs, I guess. If people keep what? No. Stupid fucking auto-scroll thing. I don't want that. I don't know why that just happened. I guess when I hit the B button to back out of that one menu, it either registered that as just auto-scroll thing, or it accidentally double-tapped, because sometimes it does that. If people keep seeing you here, they're going to start asking questions. Leave the investigation to me. All you have to do is stay quiet. Never try this. Oh. While heading upstairs, you spot the prosecutor having a conversation with someone. They seem to be in some kind of argument. Enough. I will do as I see fit. You may be a Steelwind, but this is my land. Oh, sorry. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. That was me. Oh, you're that defense attorney from the trial. I did find it somewhat out of character. Not that we know him too well, but I did find it kind of out of character for this guy to apologize. But it wasn't him, of course. I am. I'm sorry, but who? Oh, how rude of me. My name is Lord Garrick Pierce, the ruling noble of this land. I'm 38 years old and I can do transmutation magic, also I'm a noble man, if it wasn't clear. Noble man. Pierce, huh? Like what he did to the victim from behind. Or maybe from behind. Both. As the ruling noble, I suppose I should thank you for playing your role in the current trial. As misguided as it may be. I suppose that you also think my client is guilty? It does not matter what I think. This entire scandal has done nothing but rile up the common folk. Magic is a gift for the nobility, and the nobility alone. It is a symbol of the aristocracy and our divine right to rule. And now that bastard child has tainted that symbol in the public eye. Yeah, that's definitely not somebody else. All of that has nothing to do with her. She's just an innocent woman who got wrapped up in all of this. Even if she is innocent, the charges have been laid and made public. Someone must take the fall, lest the public accuse the justice system of corruption. Yeah, if only somebody who actually did it could take the fall, who knows that they did it, and pin the blame on somebody else out of fucking cowardice and stupidity. If only there were somebody like that here. So you're saying that she could be found guilty even if she's innocent? What do you suppose will happen if she's acquitted? All the public will see is a mage going free despite a myriad of evidence. That alone would be enough to cause public outrage. Tensions between the aristocracy and the common folk are high enough as is. What is one insignificant girl when compared to the stability of a greater nation? Yeah, you know, surely there's no better solution here. That's enough. Stop antagonizing him, Pierce. I can't refute what he said, but I don't agree with it. What? The system should be based on truth and justice, not on public opinion. Then why are you working against my client? Do you honestly think she's the kind of person that will kill her father? It doesn't matter what kind of person she appears to be. The evidence clearly points to her as the only possible killer. But you should fight according to your own ideals, just as I will fight for mine. And she's like quickly revealing herself to be a good person, not like a lot of the attorneys from other games. It's hard to get a read on that woman. There's a door at the end of the hallway. It looks like it's seen some use recently. You try to open the door, but it seems to be locked. Perhaps someone might have a key to open it. Perhaps. There are some candles lighting up the hallway. They look like they used to be part of the old architecture. Several doors lead to guest rooms. Aside from the rooms that you and Mr. Tamora used, they don't look like they've been open for quite some time. So I guess that counts for all of these. Guess we're moving again. Wait. See, okay, see, in the case of only 2 icons being here, unless I, remember, I guess, which, like, the dark big part, I guess, means it's selected or something. Like, without that knowledge, I wouldn't know what's selected, you know what I mean? See, but I was wrong, actually. The part that's light, that's white, I guess, that's the one. What the fuck? Maybe it's inconsistent, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not. Maybe now the barracks are open? Or maybe we go back down? Do you have the key? Maybe not.
You return to the cell that Celesta is being kept in. Oh no. The ambient despair in the air fills your mind like a horrendous stench. You do your best to ignore the emotions of the other prisoners, but you haven't had much practice blocking out this many people. So we've got like the lie sensing abilities, but stronger from Phoenix's Magatama, and we have the emotion sensing abilities of Athena Sykes. And I guess Apollo doesn't matter. Oh wait, it was actually something. As you arrive, you see Celeste huddled down in a corner. As soon as she sees you, her dour mood seems to lift, if only for a moment.
Oh, hi, Mr. Cuthbert.
There's no need to address me so formally, just call me Tyrion.
Okay.
Anyways, I came here to ask you some questions about the case.
Right.
I'm sorry for freezing up like that. I almost lost us the trial.
No, there's no need to apologize. You did great.
But it was only thanks to her. If she hadn't calmed you down, who knows what would have happened.
But I still don't understand though. Why were there traces of magic on my dad's body?
Right, those traces of magic were on the sword and the body. Magical traces are particles of magical residue that are left behind when a mage casts a spell. They only linger around for 48 hours, and that gives you a rough timeline of when and where a spell is cast. Did you cast Mage Blade on your sword that day?
I did. I usually cast it when I train in the morning.
That explains why there was a trace on the sword at least.
Did the trace on my sword leave the magical trace on my dad's body?
No, magical traces can't be moved around physically. For a spell to leave a trace, it has to be active when physical contact is made.
Really? What does that mean then?
Whatever killed your father had a transmutation spec active on it at the time. The magical trace on your sword was just an unlucky coincidence.
I can't believe this.
Could you tell me more about your father? Sorry, I know this must be difficult for after everything that's happened.
No, it's okay. If it helps you, I'll try my best to answer your questions.
Are you too close?
You were. I'm sure you know this by now, but I was adopted by him and my mom. But even though I didn't have their blood, they treated me as if I did. He loved me with all of his heart until...
Until? Until what? Does this have something to do with that argument they had? I'm sorry to say this, but I could hear your argument from my room that night. Could you tell me about what happened?
For as long as I can remember, my dad has hated mages. I'm not sure why, but if you even mentioned magic around him, he'd fly into a rage. So I hid my magic from him, from my family.
But why even learn magic in the first place? If you really wanted to, you could have gone your whole life without using it. Ever since
our tavern closed, my family's been in a lot of debt. I decided to become a mercenary and use magic to enhance my ability to fight. Most mages are in the nobility, so people will pay a lot for a sellsword who can use magic.
So that's why she's a mercenary. Celeste McCoy learned magic so she could support her family as a mercenary. Apparently, many people will pay extra for a mercenary that can use magic.
But I know now, learning magic was the biggest mistake I've ever made. On that night, my dad found my spell compendium. When he confronted me about it, I finally came clean to him.
So he didn't know at all until then? Well...
That's when he flew into another one of his rages.
Another?
He shouted at me. He told me that I'd betrayed him and his family.
I'm so sorry. I can't imagine how that must have felt.
I deserved every bit of it.
No, you didn't.
I knew how much he hated magic, but I learned to use it anyway. He showed me so much love and I just threw it all away.
No! Don't say that. I'm sure he still loved you.
No, we could see it in his eyes. He hated me.
No, and he died hating me. No! We saw him regret what he said to you. You feel a sharp pain in your chest as you see that thought. That's Rufus Fook.
So, there's a locked room in the tavern. It's at the very end of the hallway upstairs. The Inquisition probably searched it already, but I just wanted to investigate it to make sure.
A locked room at the end of the hallway? I think that's my room.
Do you know how I could get in there? It's the only room in the tavern I haven't investigated. You feel a suspicious gaze from Celeste. I'm not trying to do anything weird, man. What's that look for? I'm your lawyer. I'm not going to do anything weird.
Sorry, you're right. Here, you can use this key to get inside.
I guess she has her belongings, so... The key to Celeste McCoy's bedroom in the McCoy Tavern.
Alright, let's go do all kinds of weird shit in her room.
You know anything about this bottle? You probably shouldn't show this to her. She's already been through enough. You shouldn't remind her about her father's death unnecessarily. This is a pretty strange sword. I've never seen anything like it.
Do you like it? It's a souvenir I got while I was traveling the Eastern Kingdoms.
Wait, you've been to the Eastern Kingdoms? I thought Orangard had a strict policy preventing people from crossing the border.
Well, I didn't exactly enter legally.
Oh. You quickly glance at the guard of the cell. He doesn't seem to be listening. Please don't make a habit of telling people that. You're in enough trouble as is.
Yeah.
She's so cute. How about this? I didn't expect to find artificery in a village like yours.
Yeah, I bought it from a family to make their lives easier. But I think it just made things more complicated.
Yeah, without an arcane power cell, those lights aren't very useful. Mage Blade.
It's a spell that magically sharpens my sword so that it can cut through plate armor.
When would you even need to use a spell like that? When fighting plate-armored enemies?
Well, it's not just for plate armor. I can cut through all kinds of things with it. Trees, boulders, ballista, fortified gates. It cuts through most of those things like butter.
You start to wonder what kind of life she led before this case. Maybe there's going to be a spin-off action game starring her. Can you tell me more about this?
Oh, I don't really know what to say about that, sorry.
The rest is try some games. Take this! Yeah, I didn't think so. Can you tell me more about this? Nope. And everything else is kind of related to the death, so time to check that door. Okay. McCoy Tavern, Celeste's bedroom. You use the key to enter Celeste's room. Damn it, fucking... Why is it fucking... Sometimes it just switches to, No! To auto. Hello? No, stop. Stop! I hit the fucking B button like 3 times there. One of those had to have stopped it. What the hell? That's... I don't know what matters. What the matter is with that. However, you're startled when you notice that someone else is already inside. I've already told you knights everything that I knew. What more do you... Oh, aren't you Celeste's attorney? I am. Who are you? I guess I just have to hit the log button and then back out of there.
How rude of me. I'm Jolene McCoy.
Oh, I kind of assumed she was dead. But I guess she's here. Damn, she's quite something. Unemployed. 46 years old, and no magic.
I was at the trial this morning.
Damn it, I think because I'm trying to avoid high-pitched voices, my women all sound the same now.
I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for my daughter.
So this is Celeste's mother? She might be able to tell you more about Flintheart. About that, do you mind if I ask you some questions for my investigation? She seems kind of pretty normal for considering her husband died.
Of course, I'll do anything I can to help.
It's a fancy-looking bed.
Celeste had it custom-made.
Wouldn't something like this be really expensive?
It was. I was really surprised when she returned from her travels. Apparently she was making a lot of gold from her job as a mercenary.
Wow, you and Flintheart must have been happy for her.
We are, but I still wish she'd get a less dangerous job.
Fair. Cute. It's a painting of a woman with some sort of aquatic animal.
Oh, I love that painting. Celeste brought it back from her travels. Supposedly, that woman is named Madeline Kipling. From what I've heard, she runs a wildlife sanctuary for endangered species. I think the animal in this painting is called a fakit. Celeste told me that she really likes them.
That's interesting. You weren't aware that these kinds of creatures even existed. It's a table with several chairs. It must be used for entertaining guests. It doesn't look like it's seen much use though. What, can't check out this fancy weird rug? That's a door leading to the upstairs hallway. I never would have figured. Alright. Can you tell me why your husband hated mages so much? I understand that most people dislike the nobility and associate magic with them. But on that night, it's like he was furious at Celeste specifically because she was a mage.
Oh, you must have talked to Celeste. I wasn't there when the argument happened, but I can only imagine what he said to her.
Do you know what happened to him? Why does he hate mages and magic so much?
Celeste doesn't know about this, but years ago Flintheart had a sister named Effie. When I was a child, we were friends and with a boy named Garrick Pierce.
That's a familiar name.
He was the son of the ruling noble at the time.
Garrick Pierce? Isn't that the nobleman that was speaking with Sealwind earlier?
We were all inseparable at the time. He'd always sneak into the town to play with us against his family's wishes.
They probably weren't too happy about that.
He was quite rebellious back then, but he's a completely different person now. But everything changed when Garrick began learning how to use magic. One day, when we were playing together, he wanted to show off the spells he'd learned. He was told not to use his magic without his instructor there, but he was just too excited. He began casting his spells, but something went horribly wrong. He lost control of his magic and fatally wounded Effie. We tried bringing her back into town, but by that time it was too late. She was already gone.
Damn. I'm sorry. That must have been traumatizing for all of you.
The next day, the Arcane Inquisition came to investigate what happened. House Pierce used their connections to cover up what happened. They even threatened Flintheart's family into keeping quiet.
Damn.
After that, the official story was that Effie had been mauled by a wolf.
Shit. That's not surprising. The nobility seldom takes responsibility for their actions, even for a mistake like that. That's messed up, yo. Flintheart's sister died during an accident involving Garrick Pierce and his magic. Ever since then, he has hated magic and the mages who wield them. Flintheart's sister.
Something changed in Flintheart after that. He began speaking out against the nobility. Eventually, he started hosting rallies in this very tavern. Each night, more and more people began listening to his words and joining his cause. The number of people that he'd gotten under his banner was terrifying. There was even the talk of an outright revolution against the kingdom.
That might explain why someone would go out of their way to kill him.
I knew how much danger he was putting himself in. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't convince him to stop. His attitude didn't even begin to change until we adopted Celeste.
Speaking of her, can you tell me more about Celeste? How did she become a part of your family?
It all happened many years ago. Back when the McCoy Tavern was still open. We were closing one night when we found a baby with white hair abandoned in the dining area. We waited weeks for her parents to come by, but no one ever came looking for her.
And that baby was Celeste? Yes, Linhardt and I had always wanted a child. I thought that Celeste must have been a gift from the Scale Lord. But one day I saw Celeste practicing her magic. I think that's when I realized that someone from the nobility must have abandoned her at our inn. I didn't care though. I loved her all the same. I'm sure Linhardt did too.
Wait, you knew that she was a mage all this time?
I did. You haven't known her very long, but she is a terrible liar. Linhardt must have noticed too, but I think that he didn't want to believe it. It's my fault. I should have forced him to see the truth.
Don't blame yourself. I spoke with Celeste earlier. She thinks that her father hated her because she was a mage.
There's no way he would ever feel that way. He loved her more than anything in the world. No matter what he said to her that night, nothing would ever change that.
After seeing them together, you figured as much.
Celeste was the word to him. When we adopted her, it was the first time in decades that I'd seen him so genuinely happy.
They must have been really close.
More than anything. Do you want to hear a story? Celeste had just returned from her travels. She wouldn't stop talking about this foreign drink that she loved.
Something lotus juice, maybe?
I think it was called lotus juice, something strange like that. Well, Linhardt did everything he could to have it shipped here. He called in a bunch of favors with some of his revolutionary friends. But in the end, he was only able to get a single bottle of it.
Is it really that rare?
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if it were the only bottle of lotus juice in the region.
Wait a minute, lotus juice? Is this the bottle that Linhardt bought? You show her a picture of the shattered bottle that you found next to Linhardt's body.
It is. Oh no, he was going to surprise her with it.
I found the broken pieces next to Linhardt's. Well, I found them in the dining area.
That's strange. He'd been keeping it in our room so she wouldn't find it.
Really? When was the last time you saw it?
Right before I left the house that night. It was right before their big argument.
So it wasn't just laying around in the bar. He decided to retrieve it after the argument. Shattered bottle, the shattered remains of the last bottle. Linhardt McCoy was holding this bottle and dropped it during the murder.
It contained Celeste's favorite drink, lotus juice.
I guess he was trying to use it to make up with her. Maybe. Alright, you think you investigated everything you can for now? But there's still one last thing you need to do. You ready yourself for one last conversation with Celeste? Oh, with Celeste.
Now you're back. Did you forget something?
Actually, there's one last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Wait, it's fucking doing the thing again, isn't it? Okay, stopped it. But I think I skipped something else. No. Earlier you said something that I just can't let go. You said that your father died hating you. But after everything I heard about him, I don't think that's true. Your father loved you, Celeste, even in his final moments. You desperately want to reach her. If she keeps believing that he hated her, that thought will eat away at her for the rest of her life. You know that better than anyone.
He's just lying to make me feel better.
But it looks like it won't be that simple. You'll need to win in an argument against her if you want her to see the truth. Oh boy. Can we present this to her now, or... Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have an argument without... I guess it's not showing a psych profile at the top, in the top right, so we're just gonna have the argument raw. I guess. Celeste believes that her father died hating her. But after seeing them together and learning about them, you know that can't possibly be true. You just need to convince her of that. Let me drink some water before we get into this.
I know you're just trying to make me feel better, and I really do appreciate it. But everyone knows that my father hated mages.
He's always hated magic. There's no reason behind it. No reason behind it? No.
Sister died. I don't know if it's my place to say this, but there's a reason why your father hated magic so much.
What?
When Flintheart was a child, he had a sister. Kind of strange that you never heard about this. She was tragically killed by a mage decades ago. That's why he had such an immense hatred for magic.
I never knew. But that doesn't change anything. That's all the more reason for him to have hated me. It was selfish of me to learn magic. I knew how much he hated magic, but I still learned it to use it anyway. Magic killed someone that he loved. No wonder he was furious.
Occupation, learn magic so she could support her family, I guess that probably. But you didn't learn magic to benefit yourself, did you? You learned it to save your family after your tavern was shut down.
That's...
You're a good person, Celeste. You did everything you could to help your family. I'm sure your father recognized that.
Just shut up.
What?
Shut up. Just stop it.
Whatever composure she had before is slowly breaking down.
You weren't there. You didn't hear what he said to me. In his final moments, he could only think of how I betrayed him. I could see it in his eyes. There's no way he would ever forgive me.
Oh yeah? Take this! Take a look at this picture, Celeste.
What? A shattered bottle? Wait, is that a bottle of lotus juice?
Do you know where I found this? On the floor of your family's inn.
What? That can't be true. I tried to find it here, but no one sells it in Warrengard.
Your father knew how much you loved this drink. He called in quite a few favors just so he could have it imported for you.
What? He did that?
Your father didn't hate you, Celeste. He loved you more than anything.
That doesn't change anything. If he did that all for me, it was before he knew about my secret. I'm sure he never would have done that if he knew the truth.
That's not true at all.
What the hell would you know about him? You barely even knew him. How could you possibly know how he felt about me? Don't you think I want to believe that he still loved me before he died? But I know the truth. There's no way he would ever forgive me for what I did.
It's not just the fact that he bought that drink for you. It's also where the bottle was when you chattered.
What do you mean?
Your mother said that the bottle was stowed away in her room before your argument. But I found the shattered bottle in the lobby where his body was. I ran into him before I went to look for you. He was going upstairs to his room. That can only mean one thing. He went to retrieve the bottle after your argument ended.
What? Why would he have it?
It's because he was going to give it to you, Celeste. Or he was going to angrily throw it away because he really truly hated you. He was going to give you a gift to apologize for what he said to you.
He was going to apologize?
Your father loved you, Celeste. And, as tragic as it is, he was going to try and apologize to you before he was murdered. I don't like this. My daughter working as a mercenary of all things.
Come on, Dad. You know I can handle myself.
I don't doubt it, but you still shouldn't have to risk your neck for our sakes.
They're close to the end, Dad. We won't be able to survive unless I do this.
Just be careful, okay? I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. No matter what anyone says, you are our daughter. And we love you until the day we die. But no longer than that.
Dad, how could I ever think that? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Dad.
Celeste had barely been keeping it together throughout the whole argument, but her realization is finally causing her to break down. She begins crying loudly as she quickly embraces you in this cold, dark place she probably hasn't felt warmth of any kind for days. Aww. Caught off guard and feel a little embarrassed, but you comfort her while she vents her emotions. Argument 1. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I think I'm okay now. I've been thinking such horrible things this entire time.
She looks at you and gives you a warm smile. It's probably the first time you've seen her genuinely smile since this whole ordeal started.
Thank you. But is everything really going to be okay?
I'll make sure of it. I'll get justice for you and your father. It doesn't matter who stands in my way. Even if they're man, king, or god.
You're completely different now. What happened to the nervous wreck from before?
Please forget about that. Anyways, take some time to rest. The trial is going to resume soon. With that, you've done everything you can for now. You've learned a lot about what happened the night of the murder. You just hope it's enough. But even with your investigation, you still don't know what the prosecution has planned.
We'll see. Has Pierce told you all of the details, Mr. Rudolph? Will you remember them?
Yes, I pride myself on my eidetic memory.
Just so there are no misunderstandings, I do not approve of this.
Oh. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwind. There's no possible way that I could have done the deed. It has to be the bastard child. We don't know what sort of tricks Ruby Tamora might pull tomorrow. Just see this as a way of securing a just verdict. Save it. Alright, it's time.
Hello, Cuthbert.
Oh, hi, Mr. Morrow.
You're a lot less jumpy than you were yesterday. I'm glad to see you're finally getting used to things. So, what did you find in your investigation?
You tell Mr. Morrow about everything you've learned over your investigation.
There aren't a lot of clues that point to what actually happened.
Yeah, I know a lot of details about the crime scene, but nothing about the crime itself. This means I'll have to rely solely on pointing out contradictions in the witnesses' testimonies.
Being reactive to the prosecution's moves is a valid strategy. Honestly, I think it was a miracle that you got the commander to cooperate with you at all.
Right, you almost forgot. Commander White appears to really have it out for Mr. Morrow. Actually, I wanted to ask about that. Did something happen between you and Commander White?
Miss McCoy, please proceed to the courtroom with your counsel.
Let's go, Tyrion. The trial's about to start. You should go. The judge is waiting.
Dodged that bullet, didn't you? Right. Another secret is left buried between you two. That shot of him, like, about to slam the what's it called again? The hammer, there's like a specific word for it. You know what I mean. Down. It's always so threatening, almost. Like he's really about to fucking pass out some judgment.
Court is now resumed for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. Yesterday, the defense presented some shocking oversights made during the investigation.
Yes, I personally saw to it that the investigation was conducted properly this time.
I see. I suppose that puts my mind at ease.
At yesterday's trial, we found an inconsistency between the crime scene photo and the autopsy report. Because of this, the defense tried to push the following narrative: that a third party must have interfered with the crime scene to frame the defendant. However, the prosecution has discovered another explanation. Because of that, the individual who discovered the body would like to testify as to what he saw that night. His eyewitness account will clear up what exactly happened.
Interesting. It was my understanding that the individual in question wanted to remain anonymous.
Supposedly, this witness was within the gallery of the trial yesterday. After yesterday's proceedings, he felt that he couldn't stay silent any longer.
So that's her plan. But why would the witness change his mind like that? Did Steelwind persuade him? Or is something else happening here? Probably the latter, but maybe both.
Very well. Let's hear from this witness. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
My name is Reginald Rudolph.
I'm a chauffeur of the equine variety. Equine?
I don't know. Servant. Ayo, amusient, or whatever. So, yeah, I think that's, it's a pretty good rule. Because, just, don't be an idiot, things will be fine. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm unfamiliar with that profession.
He means to say that he's a carriage driver.
Was he the one that made us almost throw up? Or I guess maybe we did throw up at the start. Oh, I see. I guess probably not. He was probably in charge of the noble's carriage.
But in any case, it is my understanding that you found the body. Am I correct, Mr. Rudolph?
Rudolph appears to be writing something in a notebook. Okay. Hey, thanks for the follow. Yeah. You're pretty good. He writes with incredible speed. His pen only touches the paper for maybe a second before he's filled an entire page. Well,
Mr. Rudolph.
Forgive me. I was merely taking notes on
the people in this room.
Taking notes.
The witness has a certain compulsion to keep a record of every event that he witnesses.
I see.
Then I assume we will receive an accurate testimony of how you found the body? Actually, I witnessed much more than that. I saw the crime as it was being committed. And I wrote down everything that I saw.
What? Yes, it's my first time playing this. I'm a big fan of the Ace Attorney games, especially the original trilogy. But it's my first time playing this.
That is quite the claim. If that's true, why did you choose to remain silent until now? We had initially concluded that the evidence alone was decisive enough. Therefore, we saw no need at the time for his testimony.
That's a likely story.
However, those circumstances clearly changed during yesterday's trial.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you like this game anywhere near as much as I like the, Ace Attorney games, then, or I guess, better comparison, if this game is anywhere near as good as those, then I can definitely understand you. There's no way the prosecution wouldn't leverage eyewitness testimony from the start. For now, as far as I am right now, which obviously isn't very far, it seems really good. The only problems I have are a little bit with the menuing, I guess. The controls are a little less snappy, I guess, than I would like them to be, but no, that doesn't have anything to do with the core of what makes games like this really good, right? Celeste gives? Oh, Celeste as in the character here. I just thought of the game, also called Celeste. But you mean the character here that we're defending? There's no way the prosecution wouldn't leverage eyewitness testimony from the start. Something else is happening here.
Very well. Mr. Rudolph, please testify to the court about what you saw that night.
That would probably bring us pretty close to where we were at the very start of the game, huh?
I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. This occurred at 1:28 a.m. Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. There I saw the defendant. She was lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. She had stabbed Flintheart McCoy and was channeling magic into her sword. She removed her sword from Flintheart's back, and as he slowly turned to face her, she stabbed him again in the front. She soon realized that I had witnessed her heinous crime. She let the body fall to the ground and fled the scene.
Right, a great story. Yeah, Celeste seems really cool. I love her. When she teases us a little bit, the smiles she puts on and stuff, those are really cute.
Incredible. If everything occurred as the witness described, then I see no room for debate.
Yeah, but he's full of shit.
Of course, the evidence has always been irrefutable.
Nuh-uh. You don't remember seeing him when you left to look for Celeste? But it was pretty dark. Celeste, did you see this man that night? I mean, no, she was with us, remember?
No, this is my first time meeting him. And I didn't see him when I ran out of the tavern that night.
So he has to be lying.
Does that mean he's the one who killed my dad?
I don't think so. Or rather, I know not. I know that's not the case, but that's dramatic irony, I guess. She tries her best to hide it, but you can sense her restlessness. It's hard to say right now, but it's definitely a possibility.
The defense may now begin the cross-examination.
Well, we have something we can already just present evidence for, but I want to press it. I mean, I'm going to press everything, but this I'm curious about if we will question whom he was, transporting. Who was the passenger in your carriage?
Ah, well...
The identity of the passenger is irrelevant.
No, it's not.
This witness is the one who actually observed the crime as it occurred.
Also, I like his desk slam. It seems more powerful than any desk slam that I have seen in one of these games. If there was another person at the scene, they may also have crucial testimony.
Yeah. The passenger is under no obligation to testify before the court. And the current witness's account of the events is more than adequate.
I agree. I see no reason for Mr. Rudolph to disclose the identity of the client. The defense must present a more valid reason to do so.
Okay. Yeah, those eyes of Horus. You know, I'm sure there will be more info about those as time goes.
Occurred at 128. I mean, let's press it, because, always press everything.
I am assuming this disturbance was the argument between my client and her father.
Yes, I heard two voices, one young female and one gruff male. Presumably, these were the voices of Celeste and Flintheart McCoy.
Right, that matches up with what their neighbors heard too.
What did you find after hearing this disturbance, Mr. Rudolph?
Maybe. See what the commotion was about. I mean, I guess we won't get much info out of this one, but... You stopped your carriage in the middle of a job? That seems pretty abnormal for a carriage driver. What did your passenger think of this?
He had no quarrel with it.
What kind of passenger would be okay with stopping mid-drive? I mean, if I heard a commotion and my driver was like, yo, we have to check this, I'd be like, I guess sure, why not? Unless I was in a super hurry.
Passenger's thoughts on the matter are irrelevant to his testimony, unless you have any hard evidence to prove otherwise. Now then, please tell us what you saw in the establishment, Mr. Rudolph.
I mean, I guess let's present here, huh? Blue glow, the dining room lights? I think not. Lights were not operational during the murder. Broken for weeks. Objection! Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim, and you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so?
Yes, I could never forget such a grisly sight. That moment was burned into my memory.
I think that's where we started the game, isn't it? I see. Well, it is funny that you say that.
How so?
Because your entire testimony was a complete lie.
What?
Are you accusing the witness of perjury? Surely you know that such an accusation can't be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert.
My accusation is far from baseless, Prosecutor Cedarwind. Take a look at this report. The dining room lights are artificery devices that are powered by an arcane power cell. However, that same arcane power cell was broken during the time of the murder. Middle name and... Oh yeah, I guess not. The dining room lights had no energy, and the room would have been pitch black. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide.
Wait, I can explain.
There's no need, witness. You could have easily seen another source of light. Perhaps one of the McCoys. lit a candle because of the blackout.
The witness clearly described a source of blue light. A candle or a lantern wouldn't emit a color like that.
Then the witness was clearly mistaken.
The witness records everything he sees in his notebook. He even remembers the exact times that each event occurred. So why would he be incorrect about such a clear and obvious detail? Good fucking points, Tyrion. I guess I don't know what RRR you're talking about. What other media? No, what the witness saw was clearly some form of magic. And due to the lack of power, it couldn't have been artificery. It must have been an arcane spell.
That's it.
What is it, witness?
I must have made an incorrect assumption. Please allow me to revise my testimony. What do you think of this, Prosecutor Steelwind?
If the witness wants to revise his testimony, then I see no harm in obliging him. Project Moon. I don't know what I guess I'm not sure what you're talking about, actually. Like hacking as in, like, having sex. I guess I'm getting that, but like Project Moon, Kazar.
And you, Mr. Cuthbert?
If he thinks he saw something different, then it's only fair to hear him out. You'll tear through each of his lies no matter what he does.
I remember now. Yesterday it was revealed that Flintheart was killed using magic. I must have seen Flintheart's daughter channeling a magic spell.
Project Moon is there. Okay. I see.
The spell was called Mage Blade, am I correct?
Yeah, but as far as I know, it's a yellow glow, not a blue glow, but maybe I'd have to check that again.
That's it. The blue glow that I saw must have been created by Mage Blade. I see. So the blue light that you saw came from the defendant's magic. Mr. Cuthbert, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
With pleasure. Right. Spells. Effective blah blah. Emits a yellow radiant glow. Peculiar. But hey, let's press. Revealed. Are you changing your testimony based on yesterday's trial?
No, I assure you that's not what I'm doing. But after thinking about it further, I think I finally understand what I saw.
Nice save.
Must have seen Flintheart's daughter channeling his magic spell.
Wouldn't that be pretty noticeable and distinct?
The witness is of the common folk. Furthermore, the defendant's magical ability wasn't known to many until the night of the murder. What reason would the witness have to think that he was witnessing magic? He would just think that the sword was wreathed in a glow by some other means.
That last part is a bit far-fetched, but you can't really refute it right now. Well, I guess we'll test this too. You seem uncertain about the spell that you saw my client use. How can we trust the rest of your testimony?
The witness has no knowledge of the arcane arts, I'll grant you that. But it doesn't matter if he was unable to identify the specific spell. The only thing that matters is that he saw it happen.
You won't get anywhere unless you can prove that he didn't see Mage Blade. Well, yeah, I was getting to that. Here. The blue glow from Mage Blade? No, hold on a dang minute. Yeah. Mr. Rudolph, you don't know much about magic, do you? Well, so far. I like, I'm blanking on the name now, even though we just talked about her. I'm a Celeste, I like Celeste. Ruby seems cool, even though she also is definitely keeping some secrets from us. I really like our our let's say rival here. Our rival, also blanking on the word here, and the name. But yeah, her. And I guess the cop, Mr. White. You know, he seems like a good dude who's just a little too magist for his own sake. Yeah, Arya Steelwind, exactly, prosecutor. She seems really neat. She reminds me a bit of Franziska from Ace Attorney, and I really like her, so, you know, some of my liking of her is probably stemming from there. Of course not. Are you trying to say that I should have recognized Celeste's magic mage blade? No, I admit that you probably wouldn't know about mage blade. But that's exactly where your mistake was. My mistake? Mr. Rudolph, if you were aware of how mage blade works, then you would know that the spell emits a yellow radiant glow. Which means the blue glow you saw couldn't have possibly been mage blade. Then now he's gonna say, oh, I was wearing my green glasses that day. Right, yellow and green make blue. That would be a great save if he said that. I guess, you know, he's a lot like Phoenix in that regard. Even though I guess Phoenix is probably even more boy failure than Tyrion appears to be currently. This is ridiculous. I grant you that the witness clearly remembers seeing a blue glow, but that significance could be... but what significance could such a minor detail have? It's extremely significant, Prosecutor Steelwind. If the witness did see a blue magical glow, then he must have witnessed another spell at the scene. Preposterous. You don't have any evidence to back up that claim. That blue light made a large impression on the witness. He wrote it down in his notebook, and he specifically mentioned the color. There's no way he would be mistaken about something like that. So what did you really see, Mr. Rudolph? Did you see my client at the scene, casting a spell that she couldn't possibly cast? Or did you see another mage at the scene? Well... Your Honor, the defense has no right to accuse the witness like this. What? Why not? Let me remind you that perjury is a crime, Mr. Rudolph. If you are found to have lied in your testimony, you will be prosecuted. No, wait, please. Now, that is quite enough of that. This guy. Garrick Pierce suddenly steps down from the gallery and walks to the witness stand because, hey, we can't just do that. Nobles. He's breaking every possible rule in the book, but no one in the room moves to stop him. Yeah. The bailiff looks to the judge nervously, but the judge just narrows his eyes and carefully watches Pierce. Pierce, meanwhile, shoves the still flustered Rudolph off the stand and begins addressing the courtroom. Yeah, I'm also sometimes, like, you know, obviously, always looking out for puns in the names. But so far nothing too obvious. Like, he has Pierce in his name, and he pierced the victim in a way or two. But, you know. What is he even doing here? I will not stand by while you harass my servant. Pierce, we discussed this. Hey, she even has... This is like exactly Franziska's pose and expression, isn't it? This has to be a reference. This has to be a reference. There's no need for you to take the stand. Yeah. I haven't met the case 2 or 3 people yet, so we'll see. And what, pray tell, did they discuss? Nonsense, I have nothing to hide. And if you had done your job properly, I wouldn't have needed to intervene. For the first time, Steelwind doesn't seem to have control of the situation. What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? Who is this man? This is Garrick Pierce, Your Honor. That is Lord Garrick Pierce to you, Steelwind. I am the honorable heir to the Pierce noble house. In any case, I must apologize. I'm afraid that these misunderstandings are entirely my fault. What do you mean? You see, Rudolph wasn't the one who witnessed the crime that fateful night. It was me. I was the one who witnessed the crime. If by witness you mean committed, then yes. I had my driver report the body so that I could remain anonymous. What? Are you saying that you had Rudolph lie for you? So I simply dictated to him what I saw and had him repeat that to law enforcement. It simply wouldn't do for a member of the nobility to appear publicly in court. That's what you're doing now in a much more flashy manner than ever before. Dug your own grave and lie in it? I mean, you know what? Actually, I like that. That makes sense. That makes sense. I like that. Like, when I read that just now, it didn't even register as wrong. But, yeah, it's good. That's better. Yeah. Lord Pierce, regardless of your intentions, this is a very clear act of perjury. But from the look on the judge's face, you can easily tell that he won't force any actual consequences. I understand, and I will accept the consequences of that. But I would be remiss if Rudolph's shoddy testimony allowed that girl to escape her crimes. Please let me testify as to what I saw that night. Very well. This is highly irregular, but I believe the court will benefit from hearing your testimony. Oh, the nobility. I mean, I guess he's in a tough spot, huh? However, know that this misconduct has hurt your credibility. Very well. Witness testimony? On the night of the murder, I found myself unable to sleep, so I went on a leisurely carriage ride around Cornhaven. I guess his carriage must be a much smoother ride than the one we were on. I happened to be passing by the McCoy Tavern when I heard a loud commotion from within the building. I mean, I would assume so, that it would end up being a plot point. Otherwise, kind of a loaded gun with no gunpowder in it or something, I guess, I don't know. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took a single step inside the establishment. That is when I saw the scene inside. I saw the defendant stabbing that poor man twice with a sword.
Eric Pierce, he's a member of the nobility. That means that he's probably a mage, right? And he's the only other mage that was there that night. Does that mean?
There's no doubt about it. He's the one person that could have left a trace of transmutation on the body. Yeah, and we even know that his type of magic is also transmutation, even though I guess we don't know that, only the player knows that. He has to be the mage that we're looking for. Sorry, this must be a lot for you right now.
Don't worry about me. Focus on taking him down.
Well, I guess let's press that shit. That seems like a strange way to pass the time. Not that you believe him for a second.
The witness's eccentricities are beside the point.
Well, I guess I'll see how their relationship develops. But I'd say he's pretty relatable in a lot of ways. This Tyrion guy. Except for his name. His name is a fucking mess. What the fuck?
The witness's eccentricities are beside the point. What matters is that he was clearly at the scene.
Yeah, murdering people. I wouldn't quite put it that way. But nevertheless. Like commotion. I'm guessing this commotion was the argument between my client and the victim. One would conclude that, yes.
As we all know, both of them became quite loud during their argument. It's not unreasonable to say that the witness heard them from his carriage. He saw the scene inside. But how did he see that? Wait, I guess we're pressing with some stuff here. If he was at the tavern entrance, then that would mean he was here. Garrett Pierce claims to have witnessed the murder from the W marker, but that's impossible, as he wouldn't have had proper lighting. You saw the entire scene from the tavern entrance? It would be quite dark considering the lights weren't operational, even if my client was using Mage Blade at the time. Oh, of course, I'd forgotten that detail. I couldn't see what was happening, so I used my magic to illuminate the scene. You used magic at the crime scene? Yes, I remember it clearly. I conjured a blue light to illuminate the scene. That same blue light must have been what my driver saw. I thought that Rudolph didn't witness the crime at all. If I had to guess, Mr. Rudolph must have seen the blue light from the carriage. He must have made that detail a part of his testimony earlier. That actually makes a lot of sense now that you think about it. Rudolph was so sure that he saw a blue light, it would be strange if he was lying about that. Yeah. But anyways, which spell did you use to illuminate the crime scene? It was the Conjure Light spell. Okay. Looks so. We did hear him cast that spell in that flashback thing. Or I guess it was a flash present thing. No gesture, 1 hour, requires concentration. For the duration of the spell, a mote of magical light appears to be the caster's hand. Appears in the caster's hand. The color of the light is chosen by the caster and can't be changed at will for the spell's duration. This mote of light provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster, and no further. Shouldn't the off after 15 feet be double Fs? Off the caster? Whatever. Minor issue. Maybe. Your Honor, if the witness used magic at the crime scene, then I'd like for his spell compendium to be added to the court record. That's fair. Well, it's light 15 feet off the caster, right? It's away from the caster, like off of the. It illuminates off the caster. No? I see no reason to invade the witness's privacy over a trivial illumination spell. That doesn't seem trivial to me. I agree. Damn it, Judge! The defense would need a stronger reason to requisition the witness's spell compendium. Okay. Yeah. That's why I thought, whatever, maybe I'd have to reread the sentence. Yeah, I get that. I just thought, I don't have to read the exact wording. Maybe I was reading it wrong. But I know how it works. I just thought the spelling, whatever, we'll see. Right you are, Your Honor. Your wisdom is truly fitting of your station. Oh, shut up. This mode of light provides illumination up to 15 feet off the caster. Yeah, I think that double F makes sense. It provides illumination up to 15 feet off the caster, like with one F is just like by the caster basically. But off with double F would mean that it's, it goes off of him, it goes around him. But I don't know, maybe single F works as well. Conjure light, clearly saw the crime unfolded. Casting a spell seems like a pretty significant detail to forget. For you, maybe. But for a practiced mage like myself, using magic is as natural as moving my arm. You admit that you wouldn't know what it's like to be a mage? I saw the defendant standing twice with a sword. And I assume that you're going to say that she stabbed him from opposite sides each time? Of course.
Mind you, I have no idea why she would act like that, but can you prove that she didn't do exactly what I described? I suppose not. At least not yet, anyways. Pierce is definitely the real murderer. This, wait, did we say that? I don't know. This means there has to be a lie somewhere in his testimony. He keeps saying that he stood at the entrance the entire time. If he killed my father, then he would have been further in. Right. Is there any way you can prove that he was further inside the building? Yeah, that's what I was trying to get out of him with some pressing, but I guess maybe there's already stuff I can present at. So let's read again. On the night of the murder, I found myself unable to sleep, so I don't think that's gonna be there. From within the building, yeah, I don't think that's important. Not really. I guess when I try to do her voice, maybe I make her automatically a little more British than usual. A little more British. But I don't know. Not necessarily. Maybe she's like one quarter British. Carriage, took a single step inside the establishment. That's when I saw the scene inside. Conjure light. Let's check what we have again. Transmutation magic, the sword. Wait, 50. Wait. Actually, I guess now that I think about it, conjure light. I think this is probably where we want to use the map, but I'm not gonna look at it first. 15 feet. Yeah, that's definitely not close enough. If 1 square is 5 feet. You liar! Lord Pierce, you said that you illuminated the scene from the tavern entrance? And you only took a single step into the building? Of course. I remember it very clearly. I stood only at the entrance. In that case, I'd like for you to take a look at the map of the tavern. If we take a look at this map, that would place you right here where the W is. Am I correct? Of course I was. I do not know what you wish to achieve by having me repeat that fact. Just, to have yourself sink deeper into the hole that you've dug yourself. Well, I find it interesting that you illuminated the crime scene from all the way back there, considering that conjure light only illuminates an area within 15 feet. What? The spell's range is irrelevant. No, it's not. We've already established that the victim would have been illuminated by Mage Blade. During his testimony, Lord Pierce clearly stated that he couldn't see what was happening. That's why he cast Conjure Light in the first place. However, Conjure Light doesn't work like a normal source of light. It only provides illumination up to 15 feet off the caster and no further. If he had stayed at the entrance, his spell wouldn't have done anything to help illuminate the scene. But what does this mean? Lord Pierce, did you illuminate the crime scene or not? Well, I didn't think he would show his flustered face so early. I can answer that question for you, Your Honor. Lord Pierce did illuminate the scene of the crime. He illuminated it because he was standing right where it happened. Mr. Cuthbert, are you trying to say that Lord Pierce was that close to where the murder occurred? How could that be possible? Well, there's only one way this scenario would make sense, Your Honor. And that would be if Garrett Pierce was the one who murdered Flintheart McCoy. Hold on for a moment, this is absurd. I could have easily used a different spell to illuminate the room, then why did you name that one? And which spell would that be, Pierce? Damn, we're first name basis now, we're really going down on it. Wait, no, that's his last name. Shit. The name escapes me. I'm not sure which one it was now that I think about it. Oh, I thought magic was so natural for you. You idiot. Well, maybe we can figure it out together. When you relinquish your spell compendium to the court. What? This is a clear violation of my privacy. Steelwind, why aren't you objecting to this? If you had listened to my instructions, you wouldn't be in this situation. You've made your bed, now lie in it. Or your grave. Steelwind, you treacherous! Boom! I wish he had just smacked Pierce on the head with that. That would have been great. That's enough. It appears that the prosecution has no objections. With everything that has occurred, I must ask that Lord Pierce relinquish his spell compendium to the court. Yippee! Garrett Pierce's spell compendium. It contains the formulas for the following spells: Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, and Shape Liquid. Shape Liquid, interesting. Prestidigitation, classic. Evocation. Wait, I thought he could only do one type of magic. A snap of the fingers, indefinite duration. Yes, for concentration. The caster creates a simple and harmless visual effect around their hand. This effect will last for as long as they maintain concentration on the spell. Conjure Water. Acquiol. Outstretched palm. Causes water to magically flow out of the caster's hand. This water will flow so long as the caster maintains concentration on the spell. I guess maybe in this world you can concentrate on more than one spell. Or I guess maybe you just cast the water and then form it, and you don't need to still have the spell active for the water to remain. I guess that makes sense too. Frost Wave. Outstretch both hands. Transmutation. Anything caught within range is hit with a blast of extremely cold air. Liquids hit will be immediately frozen, and organic life will immediately enter stages of hypothermia. The classic frozen weapon trope, or rather, bit. Yeah, I thought so. That's where it was. Shape Liquid. Figakwa. Point index finger at the tar. That's transmutation, by the way. While concentrating on the spell, the caster can magically manipulate up to 10 liters of liquid and form it into complex shapes. At any time, the caster can choose to freeze the liquid and modify its current shape. While frozen, the caster can also choose to make the liquid instantaneously melt. Okay, so you don't actually need to use the Frost Wave to do the freezing parts. I would have thought that it would leave extra traces or something, but it seems he didn't need it.
Good job, Tyrion. We got a spell compendium.
With that, this case is as good as yours. Or is it? She didn't even try to stop you from taking a spell compendium. She wouldn't let that happen just to spite Lord Pierce. She definitely still has something up her sleeve. Your Honor, I've looked at the spells in Lord Pierce's compendium. Conjure Light is the only spell that he can cast that would shed blue light. This renders his testimony and many of his statements false. Ugh. You can practically hear Lord Pierce grinding his teeth. Your Honor, Lord Pierce could very well be a suspect in the murder of Lynette McCoy. The defense argues that this presents enough reasonable doubt to acquit the defendant. But he's a noble, though. I acknowledge that Lord Pierce's actions are quite suspect. However, I will not pass a verdict just yet. There's much more we need to learn.
What? That's not how it works. We proved that there's reasonable doubt. What should be enough to acquit? That should be enough to acquit me, right?
In a normal case, maybe, but it's different for this trial. The public won't accept an unsolved homicide involving magic. Unless we can unequivocally prove your innocence, the court will keep drawing out this case.
What? But that's not fair.
That's just how the system works. Our court system doesn't exist to exact justice. It exists so that the kingdom can save face.
No.
However, the court will be suspending the trial of Celeste McCoy until further notice. That is, until Lord Pierce can be investigated as a possible suspect.
Objection!
I was thinking that would happen. No way are we going into a second investigation on the first trial.
A possible suspect? The very idea of that is preposterous, Your Honor. Damn it, you knew she was planning something. Let's revisit the basic facts of this case, shall we? Flinhart McCoy was murdered using a blade that with a transmutation spell active on it. Mr. Cuthbert, why don't you tell me the spells that Lord Pierce knows?
Dude, I can so easily tell you how he made a magical blade. I just did it, basically. So, what the hell are you even trying to do here? Alright. His spells are Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, and Shape Liquid. Ah.
You've realized it too, haven't you? Lord Pierce doesn't know any transmutation spells that can be channeled through a solid object.
But he doesn't need to. What? That can't be right. Huh, you're right. You're absolutely right, Lady Steelwind. I couldn't have possibly committed this murder. Totally. I see. With that in mind, that would leave the defendant as the only possible killer.
But he was the only other mage there. He has to be the real murderer.
But he doesn't know any transmutation spells that can affect a solid object. What about a liquid object, though? Let me have some of my jockey milk real quick. Alright. We can't prove that he stabbed him while casting magic.
Wait a minute. How did he do it then?
She's right. How did he do it? If there are traces of transmutation magic on the wound, then Flintheart was definitely stabbed by something magical. But none of his transmutation spells can affect a steel blade. Does that mean that he used something else? I mean, yeah, obviously. Or maybe he used a gavel. The defense did cast some doubts on his witness's testimony, so we are a magician after all. We can cast doubt. Nevertheless, I must conclude that he could not have possibly committed the murder. With that in mind, hold on. Please wait, Your Honor. We still can't conclude that Lord Pierce couldn't have committed the crime. What are you on about? Lady Steelwind said it herself, you commoner. I didn't know any spells that can be channeled through a metal blade. He's right, which can only mean one thing. You didn't use a metal blade, did you? Wow, he cracks so easily.
What nonsense is this? The autopsy report clearly states that the wound was created by a blade. If he didn't channel magic through a blade, how could he have possibly committed the crime?
Yes, your claim seems quite contrary to the facts thus far, Mr. Cuthbert.
Which spell did Lord Pierce use to commit the murder?
Which spell could Lord Pierce have possibly used to kill the victim? What's with that weird line? You see that line? I guess I can use my mouse. What's with that? Just a little glitch? Or what? Anyway. Shape liquid. You see, Your Honor, Garrick Pierce didn't kill the victim using a sword. He killed him using an object shaped exactly like a sword.
What?
I'm afraid I don't quite understand, Mr. Cuthbert.
I'd like for the court to take a look at Lord Pierce's spell compendium.
Garrick Pierce knows a seemingly insignificant spell called Shape Liquid. With it, he can control a body of water and shape it into any complex shape he wants. Then he can freeze that liquid, maintaining its current shape. A shape like a sword.
What? No, is it possible that he...
What do you have to say for yourself, Lord Pierce? So, this makes it kind of clear that Arya did think he was innocent. She was doing some fuckery behind the scenes because of some bullshit, I guess, but she didn't think he was the murderer, at least, which makes her remain cool. What do I have to say? Pierce's breathing becomes more frantic. He's clearly not used to being put in a corner like this. You can see his stress and frustration emanating through the eye of the horse. I think we don't need any horror's eyes to see the stress and frustration on that face. You have him now. Time for the finishing blow. Argument. Okay. I'll tell you exactly what I have to say. Commoner, I'm not the one on trial here. We're here because that bastard child didn't know her place. She's just a peasant, yet she still learned the arcane arts. And look what happened. I saw the murder, I witnessed everything. That girl used our holy arts to murder her father in a fit of rage. Do we just present the map again, or... I actually don't know. Huh. I witnessed everything. Impossible, it wouldn't have proper lighting. I guess? Can I save during trials? No, I can't. I guess the map? And how, pray tell, did you see everything? If you recall, you testified that you only took a single step inside the inn. But you would have needed to be within 15 feet to see my client with Conjure Light. This again. If you're going to keep treading on that one detail, then I admit I stepped further into the inn. I kept that detail out of my testimony. All because I knew that you'd use it to cast suspicion on me. Well, yeah, because it makes you suspicious. Lord Pierce. You just didn't, but you didn't just keep that detail from your testimony, did you? You testified the opposite. That makes you guilty of committing perjury. Again. No, I mean... Ugh, you miserable wretch! Perjury. Garrett Pierce has openly admitted to committing perjury in the courtroom. His lies haven't gone unnoticed. And let's not stop there. For your story to be true, you would have needed to be within 15 feet of my client. According to your testimony, my client had just finished committing a murder. Wouldn't she have noticed you? If you were that close, then you would have surely been close enough to apprehend her. So why didn't you? Don't you have a duty to your citizens? Shut up! Shut your dirty peasant mouth! That woman was arrested. I had no reason to put my life in danger. She was wielding her sword after the murder. I was terrified when I saw her holding that bloody sword. My life was in danger. She was wielding her sword after the murder. Or was she? It's stuck right in there, even though it's kind of translucent. I don't know. I found that weird the entire time, but... Right? I guess that's the one? But that can't be right, can it, Lord Pierce? This photo of the crime scene shows that the sword was left in the victim's body. How could she still be wielding her sword if she left it there? What Ah, damn you, damn you! Steelwind, why aren't you saying anything? What? Prosecutor Steelwind has lost her usual air of confidence. You find it strange, though. Even when you had the advantage, she always maintained her usual poise. Lord Pierce, please pull yourself together. How can I remain calm when this charlatan is trying to frame me? This is a complete travesty of our justice system. I came here to reveal the truth and testify against that criminal. And what do I get instead? Slander from some lowly defense attorney. To reveal the truth and testify against that criminal. Alright. Your own perjury, motherfucker? You talk about justice, but you've committed several acts of perjury to twist the outcome of this trial. You're clearly not acting in good faith. You don't care about justice, you just want to further your agenda. So admit it, Pierce, you created a makeshift sword using shape liquid, and you used it to impale Flintheart. You shoved my client's sword into the wound, while the remnants of the real murder weapon evaporated. It was a perfect crime, wasn't it? That's a new face. What? Or Pierce. My apologies, Your Honor. It's just that I realized something absolutely hilarious. What? Yeah, has he finally lost his mind? The defense put forward an interesting theory, but there's one problem with it.
And what's that?
I think you said it yourself.
He shoved the sword in the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon evaporated.
It was a perfect crime, wasn't it? You see, it would have been a perfect crime, because any evidence to support that theory would have evaporated with that frozen blade.
What?
No.
He's right. If he used an ice blade to kill Flinhard, it would have evaporated by now.
And that means there would be nothing left of the murder weapon.
Well, but we should still at least be freeing our client.
You've spun quite the tale here today. But in the end, you don't have a shred of evidence to support it, do you? You have nothing on me.
Isn't there anything we can do?
You become quiet.
Tyrion? Why isn't he saying anything? Is it really hopeless?
But all it takes is one look at the expression on your face. Any worries she had instantly disappear. I'm in my chess zone. Because she realizes the expression on your face. It's the same expression you made every time you defeated her. What is this? You can glare at me all you want. It won't change the fact that you've lost. I despise people like you. Huh. You twist the system to serve your own ends. You trample on the lives of innocent people. But as long as I'm here, I will never let that happen again.
Not can remain concealed.
What? Empowered eye.
What did I just do?
Your head feels like it's about to burst. The pain is unbearable and overwhelming. But at the same time,
You feel an extreme sense of clarity.
as if you can see more than you could before. I can't believe that peasant pushed me this far. Once again, you see Pierce's thoughts through the eyes of Eye of Horus. But this sensation feels different from how it usually is. It's more intense and potent this time. It's almost as if you can do more than just read his surface-level thoughts. Empowered Eye. You've activated the Empowered Eye. With it, you will be able to do more than see the witness's thoughts. You'll also be able to affect what they think about. Project items into Pierce's mind to evoke thoughts from him. You'll want to project items that make him think about the murder. Evoking the right thoughts will raise your insight. Once the insight gauge is filled, you'll have everything you need to implicate him. Well, I wonder if this is maybe the liquid you used, motherfucker. I guess I'll use the present evidence button.
Why am I thinking of such a thing?
That piece of evidence didn't evoke any useful thoughts for him. Okay. Maybe you'll see something if you project pure. Sure. Maybe the conjure water spell. Perhaps I should have used this spell to create the blade. No, it was safer to use that bottle he was holding. Hey, so I was right. Fuck you. Conjuring my own water would have left evidence behind. Well, water from a bottle? Come on, I think me pointing out that bottle would have made just as much sense. Whatever. Wait, a bottle? Well then, as riveting as this has been, I believe it's time for me to take my leave. Now wait a minute, Pierce. What is it now, you wretch? I'll say it as many times as you need to hear. There is no evidence of a liquefied weapon at the crime scene. Here. Boom. You're right, Pierce. If you did use shape liquid on a body of water, the murder weapon would have evaporated entirely. Oh, it seems you've finally gotten the fact through your thick head. Bravo. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Pierce. What if you didn't use shape liquid on a body of water? What if it was another type of liquid? What are you going on about? Pierce, shape liquid doesn't just work on water. It works on all kinds of liquids. This shattered bottle contained the liquid that you cast your spell on, didn't it? You show him the picture of the shattered bottle of lotus juice. Just that bottle. Pierce, I found this shattered bottle on the ground near the victim's body. I wonder what caused it to shatter. You must have decided to use any liquid you could find.
Luckily for you, the victim was holding the perfect quantity of liquid in his hands. I wonder, Lord Pierce, if we had someone analyze the broken pieces of this bottle, would we find traces of transmutation magic? This time it works out for us that the case was rushed so much so that the 48 hours have not passed yet. You little... That still proves nothing. So what if there are traces of magic on the shattered bottle? You still don't have a murder weapon. I wasn't finished, Pierce. What? You see, the liquid contained in this bottle, it wasn't water. Wrong voice. It was soda. So, what difference does that make? A blade of ice made out of water would have evaporated entirely. But a blade of ice made out of soda would leave a puddle of dried residue. No, it can't be. I'd wondered why there was such a circular trace of magic under the body. If we checked the outline of that trace, I'd bet we'd find a dried puddle of soda and residue. That would prove that you used your magic on that soda. There's your murder weapon, Pierce. Wow. And that's checkmate. Ta-da! Bailiff, tell Orem to analyze the crime scene at once. We must determine this puddle of soda residue, if this puddle of soda residue exists. The time window to find traces of magic is closing. See, if she was bad, she'd be like, oh, let's not be too hasty about this. So, we had our team search the crime scene for that soda puddle. He must be delighted to be not only putting a mage behind bars, but a noble? Orm White must be whiting his pants at this moment. Hello, Effer. I really can't believe it, but we found it. In fact, the outline of the dried soda lines up exactly with the outline of the trace of transmutation magic. We checked the broken bottle too. There were traces of transmutation magic on it as well. There's no doubt about it, someone used magic on that soda. I see. Thank you, Orem. Please escort your Lord Pierce back to the stand. What do you have to say for yourself, Pierce? What do you think you've accomplished here today? Do you honestly think you can indict me? I'm an aristocrat from the highest echelon of our society. That fool of a man was an insurgent. He was a threat to society, and I did my civic duty by removing him.
Objection!
Boom. Bailiff, please escort the witness to the holding cell. Steelwind. First-degree murder is punishable by execution, Lord Pierce. I suggest you remain silent, lest you incriminate yourself further. What? You can't be serious. Aria's my girl. Shut your insidious mouth. Oh, I love her. I love her. Well, what are you all waiting for? Take him away. Yes, take him away at once. I can't believe it. We actually won. Tyrion, It's all she can do to hold back her tears. You don't need to say anything. Your face says it all. Thank you. You've more than exceeded my expectations today. Miss Timora. I'll be honest. When I realized that the murder weapon evaporated, I thought that the case was shot. I can't believe you were able to turn that around. It was just luck. If you had used water, we would have been done for, but then we would have found traces of magical water and it would have been okay. Maybe. It had nothing to do with luck. You were able to deduce which liquid you used. And you did it just by looking at a few shards of broken glass. Your skills of deduction never cease to amaze me. That's not exactly true. But with Celeste there, you can't tell her about your new ability. Well, you missed the first 3 hours and like 20 minutes. And almost all of this first case. But other than that, you witnessed basically everything. You're all quite lively. There's no need for such hostility. Though I wouldn't expect any less from the Hound of the Eye Taker.
Ooh, that's quite the title. Ooh, she's scared. Or at least surprised. I guess that doesn't necessarily have to be fright. It could just be surprise. Wait, what did she mean by that? You glance at Miss Tamora, but when she meets your gaze, she immediately looks away. She looks like she's focusing. Almost as if to protect herself from a certain eye.
I must admit, I was hoping to test my blade against you directly. However, your protege proved to be a worthy adversary.
Thank you?
Is this some kind of game to you? You talk about trials as if there's some kind of competition. Your action almost condemned an innocent woman to death. Our system operates by having two powers of opposition. When those powers are balanced, justice prevails. Make no mistake, your victory today was just our system working as intended.
Look at her. She skipped all of the problematic points of Edgeworth and such. Before the case even began, it seems. Yeah, that's a decent way of nutshelling that, I guess. Nutshelling is definitely a term people use. It doesn't sound like something else. Yeah, no. Aria is probably my favorite so far.
Working as intended. You know very well our system only exists to protect your people. I know.
What?
In any case, it looks like we'll be facing each other more frequently in the future. I look forward to doing battle with you again, Tyrion Cuthbert.
What a strange girl. She likes me. We're married now.
Well, that kind of killed the mood, didn't it? Not at all. I think we should celebrate.
Oh?
What did you have in mind? There's this amazing restaurant in the upper quarter of the capital city. They usually only serve nobles, but they let anyone in if they have enough gold.
Wait, do we have enough gold?
Of course we do. Don't worry about the details. I'll handle everything.
Wait, just how much money does Mr. Mora make? By the way, what does LH stand for? I'm guessing it's like some kind of just kidding thing, but not sure what the words are. And so began my journey into the world of law and magic. High-hearted, okay. Our justice system is rotten to its core, and I'll have many trials ahead. Regardless, I'll keep fighting on and get justice for every one of my clients. Episode end. The Cold-Hearted Aristocrat. Complete case 1. The Cold-Hearted Aristocrat. Yippee!
This feeling, I knew it. His radiant soul has finally awakened. I can't believe it. I've been waiting for so long.
Is that the girl that called us the, what was it? Heaven Lord? No. It was something.
I can't wait for the day when I see his eyes draped in agony.
Ooh, I like her too. Alright! Heavensborn, yeah, that. Well, I think that's a good place to stop for today. Didn't really know much about this game, but I guess it was indeed very similar to the Ace Attorney games, so I was not disappointed. And so far, I really like it. That was a really good first case. And I'm looking forward to more. But I think that makes this a good place to stop for today. And we will probably pick up more tomorrow. Will we be able to finish another full case in another one sitting? As far as I know, the Ace Attorney games, these cases just keep getting longer as time goes, so maybe not, but we'll see. But for today, I thank you for watching, hanging out, And prevailing justice, that's not a way. Letting justice prevail with me. And I hope you'll join me again sometime. For example, when I probably play this again tomorrow. For the second case here. I guess actually, do we then load the game? Or do we do new game and start the second trial? Because I know, you just can't choose the trial like that. I don't know. We'll figure that out tomorrow. So, come on by if that's your thing, and if it's not, then, you know, we'll meet again when we do something else, I guess. Okay, from new game. Okay. And, yeah, whenever it is that we meet again, until then, I say, what's God is a man. Bye-bye.